Hey everyone, Firescale Audiobooks here. If there's a novel you'd love to hear more of, you can support us on Patreon or Ko-fi. Depending on your tier, I'll make extra parts just for the stories you're most excited about. Usually I can only upload 4 to 5 parts of each novel, but with your support we can go beyond that. And of course, don't forget to hit subscribe. It helps more than you know.
Welcome to the world of Immortal Clan. In this world, you can recruit disciples from the Ascension platform, explore the mist to gain wealth, fight against native immortal sects, and plunder players from other immortal sects. The player's cultivation level is 1 tier higher than the highest-ranking disciple. Everyone on Earth aged 18 to 50 is participating in this game. The newbie protection period is only 7 days, and there will be 3 newbie treasure chests every day. Good luck. Yi Fan received 4 system notifications immediately upon logging in. I've somehow ended up in a game where everyone's a member of an immortal sect. Moreover, players from all over the planet Earth participated. The first thing that came to Yi Fan's mind was an alien invasion. I've become a guinea pig in alien experiments. Yi Fan surveyed his surroundings. He was in a quaint wooden room. The room contained only a bed and a table. On the table were a bronze mirror, a book, and a bottle of elixirs. After Yi Fan left the room, he discovered that there was a courtyard in front of him. Ahead was a large hall. Yi Fan walked into the hall and a prompt box appeared in front of him. Please name your sect. Yi Fan thought for a moment and remembered a software he often used in his previous life, so he typed in the 3 characters Moon Shadow Sect. Congratulations to the player for establishing their own immortal sect, Moon Shadow Sect. Another system notification sounded in front of me. Yi Fan walked out of the sect leader's hall, which contained only a few chairs. Looking at his sect's layout, there were only 4 buildings, a main hall for the sect leader and 3 rooms for the disciples. In the center of the Immortal Gate, there is a well, next to which is a paddy field of only a dozen square meters. Besides these visible buildings, Yi Fan's small Immortal Gate was protected by a transparent light shield, which should be the shield during the novice protection period. Outside the light shield was nothing but pitch-black fog, making it impossible to see the surrounding environment. Back in his room, Yi Fan searched for a long time but couldn't find the entrance to the Ascension platform, when Yi Fan's gaze fell upon the bronze mirror on the table. The image reflected in the bronze mirror was not Yi Fan's appearance, but rather his spiritual energy, which passed through the mirror and arrived at an incredibly vast high platform. Although it's called a high platform, it's not small at all. Instead, it's located at the top of a large mountain, covering an area of hundreds of thousands of square meters. The area was packed with people. I'd estimate at least several hundred. These people were all dressed in clothing similar to that of ancient Daxia, with various styles and different appearances, suggesting that many countries or tribes had gathered here. Most of them were poor people from Linen, while a group of richly dressed people would gather in a corner under the protection of servants. Yi Fan understood this was the Ascension platform, the place where he would choose his disciples. The potential for a sect's development is greatly influenced by its top-tier disciples. With so many people, how can we select outstanding disciples? What first attracted Yi Fan were the several beautiful women surrounded by a group of young masters. When Yi Fan's gaze fell upon the most beautiful woman among them, her information was displayed immediately. Wang Shanshan, bone age 16, spiritual root 3. Yi Fan didn't know if having a 3rd spiritual root was good or not. He turned to look at another woman. Li Yu Huan, bone age 20, spiritual root 5. Zhao Tian's, bone age 19, spiritual root 6, sword spiritual root 15. The 3rd person, Zhao Tian's, caught Yi Fan's attention. He actually possesses a sword spirit root and at a remarkable 15 points, far surpassing the other 2. It seems that the maximum value of spiritual roots is not the 10 points I initially imagined. It's very likely to be 100 points, and it also has a special spiritual root attribute. In that case, we can't just choose disciples randomly. We should check the attributes of as many people as possible first. Suddenly, Yi Fan noticed a chat box appear in front of him. The words "Blue Star" are displayed above. How did I end up in this godforsaken place? Anyone who can take me back, I'll give them 100 million. What's the person upstairs thinking? Who can take me home? I'll give them half of my company's shares worth 5 billion. Still dreaming, the entire planet Earth has joined this game of the immortals. Earth's former status is now utterly meaningless. Do you know how to accept disciples? There are so many people on the Ascension platform. How can you check if a disciple has the aptitude for cultivation? You guys are too slow. I've already chosen 3 beautiful girls as my disciples. If it weren't for the limited number of disciples, I could have a harem. What use is a beautiful disciple? A disciple without the potential for cultivation is just wasting a spot. I just glanced at the chat box. Yi Fan noticed the problem. The others couldn't see the disciple's spiritual root, and one can see the spiritual root attributes of one's disciples. Secondly, currently, each sect can only recruit 3 disciples. Both of these pieces of information are extremely important. Since most people don't have the right spiritual roots, they can only recruit 3 disciples on the first day. Therefore, my most important task is to find 3 top-tier disciples on the first day and recruit them into my sect. With that in mind, Yi Fan began searching quickly. He can no longer judge a disciple solely by their appearance. Disciples with exceptional attributes are the foundation of one's success. Finding those exceptional disciples in the vast sea of people is extremely difficult. There were millions of people on this ascension platform. Let alone checking their information, even just looking at each person's face once would be an incredibly daunting amount of work. Yi Fan began to activate his thoughts. How can one find a top-tier disciple? As Yi Fan was thinking this, on the ascension platform, thousands of exclamation marks immediately appeared. They are different colors: green, blue, purple, red, gold. There are the most green exclamation marks, the number of blue exclamation marks drops sharply, and there are only 3 gold exclamation marks. That's it. Yi Fan decisively floated towards the nearest golden exclamation mark. All the players from the Immortal Sect enter this ascension platform through the bronze mirror in a soul state. It can float and fly easily on the ascension platform, just like a bird. This is a woman dressed entirely in black robes with a black silk scarf covering her face. She exuded an icy aura. This ensures that no outsiders can exist within a 3-meter radius of the vicinity. Li Yu Huan. Bone Age 16, Spiritual Root 165, Sword Spiritual Root 155 with an ethereal appearance. Hobbies: formations, weapon crafting, destiny, reincarnation of an immortal emperor born a sword saint. Goodness, goodness, goodness. This Li Yu Huan actually possesses such outstanding spiritual roots. Yi Fan has already seen over 100 people, and the most outstanding spiritual root is no more than 25 points. The woman before them had actually broken through 150 points in both her spiritual root and sword spiritual root. This number is outrageous. Most importantly, it turns out that spiritual roots are not the most important factor. There's such a thing as destiny. Those who possess destiny are the most outstanding disciples in this world. It means that one is destined for greatness. Yi Fan carefully examined the woman in front of him, who was dressed entirely in black robes. He could see that, beneath the black silk scarf, those bright eyes were also staring intently at him. This woman can actually see herself in her soul form. By the way, her destiny is to be the reincarnation of a celestial emperor, which means that this woman named Li Yu Huan may have awakened a trace of her past life's memories. You can see yourself in your soul state. Yi Fan spoke, directly using divine sense to ask, Li Yu Huan, are you willing to become my disciple? Li Yu Huan, you're just a mere chi-refining cultivator, yet you dare to dream of being my master. After saying that, he turned his head away and ignored Yi Fan. It seems that disciples with a destiny bestowed upon them are not so easy to recruit. Others also choose immortal sects, just like those top students on Earth, whose first choice is Tsinghua and Peking University, not Langxiang like Yi Fan. How do you trick a genius disciple into joining your sect? Yi Fan's only advantage right now is that he can see hidden attributes. Take a close look at Li Yu Huan's attributes. Destiny, reincarnation of an immortal emperor born a sword saint, that's it. Yi Fan decided to take a gamble. He transmitted his thoughts to Li Yu Huan. He said, Li Yu Huan, you are the reincarnation of a celestial emperor. If other immortal sects knew about your situation, wouldn't you be afraid that they would seize your Dao bones? Upon hearing Yi Fan's words, a look of surprise clearly appeared on Li Yu Huan's usually calm face. She has only regained a trace of her knowledge from her previous life. A celestial emperor's entire existence is knowledge, much like a data center with millions of hard drives. Li Yu Huan is currently just a martial artist, not even at the chi refining stage, and his storage capacity is equivalent to a 35 MB floppy disk. It's impossible to receive all the memories from a past life. At most, it's just a little bit of basic cultivation knowledge. If I were to receive all her memories, I could literally burst her current brain. Unexpectedly, his greatest secret, the reincarnation of an immortal emperor, was seen through at a glance by the sect leader before him. What Li Yu Huan wants to do now is to escape far away from here and never enter this ascension platform again. However, she couldn't leave. The reason why the lower realm is a country of mortals is that resources for cultivating immortality are extremely scarce. Even the monarchs of mortal kingdoms do not have as many cultivation resources as the outer disciples of immortal sects. Even the most gifted person will find it difficult to obtain enough cultivation resources in the lower realms to reach the lowest level of qi refining. Thinking this, Li Yu Huan coldly said, "How do I know you're not after my Taoist essence?" At this point, Yi Fan could only play the role of a liar. He said, "Because I am also a reincarnation of an immortal emperor, I have no need to obtain your Dao bones. Otherwise, how could I have discerned your background at a glance? Joining my immortal sect will only bring you benefits, not harm." Upon hearing this, Li Yu Huan hesitated for a moment. She was considering whether Yi Fan's words were true or false. The other party could see through her background at a glance and directly pointed out that she was the reincarnation of a celestial emperor. That's definitely not the kind of strength a mere qi refining stage cultivator could possess. Thinking about this, Li Yu Huan gritted her teeth and said, "All right, I'm willing to join your immortal sect." After Li Yu Huan decided to join Yi Fan's immortal sect, Immortal Gate Games immediately sent a server-wide announcement. "Congratulations to player Yi Fan for obtaining the title of Disciple of Destiny. You will be rewarded with one draw from a golden treasure chest." 10 golden treasure chests immediately appeared in front of Yi Fan. Yi Fan is given a hint that he can draw one treasure from 10 golden treasure chests. Yi Fan didn't rush to choose, but instead looked at the golden treasure chests one by one. It contains elixirs, spirit stones, spirit wood, spirit herbs, and more. There are only 2 treasure chests containing equipment. Mountain Suppressing Stone, a low-grade Xuan artifact that can create illusion arrays to protect the Immortal Sect. It also provides a certain amount of Earth attribute within the Immortal Sect, which can enhance the cultivation of Earth-type spiritual roots. Heavenly Silkworm Armor, a low-grade Xuan artifact that can ignore attacks from Foundation Establishment stage cultivators. These 2 magical treasures, the Mountain Suppressing Stone and the Heavenly Silkworm Armor, are useful to the immortal sects. Yi Fan hesitated for a moment, but he could only choose one of the 2 magical treasures. After much deliberation, Yi Fan decided that preserving his own life was the most important thing. The Mountain Suppressing Stone is only useful for Earth-type disciples, and I don't have any Earth-type disciples yet. With that in mind, Yi Fan didn't hesitate any longer and reached out to open the treasure chest containing the Heavenly Silkworm Armor. He put the Heavenly Silkworm Armor directly on his body. I immediately felt a strong sense of security. Using his divine sense, he asked Li Yu Huan to wait a moment. Yi Fan's soul entered the ascension platform once again. It flew towards the 2 golden exclamation marks. The 2 people in front of me were dressed in rags, their hair hadn't been washed for months, and their faces were covered in black mud. They looked like 2 little beggars. Yi Fan checked their attributes. Nangong Feixu. Bone Age 18, Spiritual Root 171, Sword Spiritual Root 152 with an ethereal appearance. Hobbies, sword dance, musical instruments. Destiny, the sword spirit of the mortal world, the sword god. Nangong Kiashui Bone Age 14, Spiritual Root 157, Wood Spiritual Root 163 with an ethereal appearance. Hobbies, alchemy, planting herbs and trees. Destiny, born with a natural elixir body and has an affinity for plants. The 2 filthy beggars in front of me actually had ethereal beauty. Through their faces covered in black mud, one could actually discern a remarkably regular appearance. Even if they were extremely ugly, Yi Fan would still take them as his disciples. Through observation of attributes over this period of time, Yi Fan had already understood that whether a disciple was outstanding or not, spiritual roots were actually secondary. The most important thing is whether one possesses an exceptionally strong destiny. The better a disciple's destiny, the greater their potential for future development. Moreover, their spiritual roots far surpass those of others. Yi Fan asked, "Nangong Feixu, Nangong Kiashui, would you 2 sisters be willing to join my immortal sect?" I thought this time, like with Li Yu Huan, there would be many demands. The chosen one isn't so easy to recruit. Unexpectedly, the 2 sisters immediately knelt on the ascension platform and said in unison, "Thank you, immortal lord, we are willing." These 2 women are different from Li Yu Huan. Li Yu Huan awakened a trace of her past life's memories and had ample food. She could stay on the ascension platform for a week without any problem, and naturally she could choose which immortal sect she wanted to join. The Nangong sisters did not pretend to be beggars. They were originally from a large family, but their family was framed and their property was confiscated. The 2 sisters managed to escape the calamity by going out, but they quickly ran out of money and ended up begging their way to the ascension platform. On the ascension platform, there was no food left, and they had endured for 3 days. If no immortal sect wants them, they will have to leave the ascension platform and miss the platform's opening time this year. Furthermore, given their situation, if they fail to join the immortal sect this time, it's uncertain whether they will even survive until the next ascension platform begins. At the most desperate moment for her sisters, unexpectedly, a cultivation sect has finally agreed to accept them as disciples. The two sisters naturally bowed their heads and knelt in gratitude. Yi Fan waved his hand. The two bodies left the ascension platform and arrived at Yi Fan's immortal gate. He never expected to be so lucky, managing to recruit the three most outstanding disciples from the ascension platform into his own school. Others, however, could not view the attributes. On the ascension platform, there were millions of people. However, those with outstanding potential for cultivating immortality number only a little over 10,000. Most of the disciples chosen were even useless people with spiritual roots below level 10. It seems that I already have an absolute advantage in the early stages of the game. Thinking about this made Yi Fan very happy. The more outstanding a disciple is, the more cultivation resources they need. I need to think of a way to acquire more resources so that I can accelerate my disciples' cultivation. Yi Fan returned to the Immortal Sect. After the Nangong sisters went to the ancient well to fetch water and wash up, the three of them came to the main hall of the sect to formally become disciples. Yi Fan returned to his room. His gaze fell upon the books before him, Basic Introductory Techniques. A cultivation technique that allows all disciples with spiritual roots to enter the chi refining stage. Although it's of low quality, it's very practical. Because this cultivation method does not discriminate based on the disciple's spiritual root, anyone can practice it. He glanced at the medicine bottle again. 10 grade 9 spirit nourishing pills can enhance a disciple's sensitivity to spiritual energy and accelerate their cultivation speed. This is also the lowest level introductory pill. It seems that in the early stages of the Immortal Sect game, all players only have this most basic resource. We're so poor. He stepped out of his bedroom and into the main hall of the sect leader's hall, using divine sense to transmit sound. The three of you may come in. Before long, the three disciples recruited by Yi Fan entered the sect leader's hall. Nangong Feixu and Nangong Qiushui immediately knelt on the ground and loudly proclaimed, "Disciples pay respects to Master." Li Yu Huan simply bowed slightly in greeting. He was far more arrogant than his other two disciples. She was still wary when she joined Yi Fan's Immortal Sect. He worried that Yi Fan was a fraud and incapable of teaching him. She was also worried that Yi Fan wanted to seize her Dao Bone. However, Li Yu Huan didn't care about any of this. She had just used her own cultivation technique to sense the spiritual energy within the Immortal Sect. Knowing that this was indeed the upper realm, and that the immortal sects were filled with spiritual energy, although not very dense, Li Yu Huan believed that she could reach the chi refining realm in a very short time and quickly catch up with the man in front of her. At that time, she was no longer afraid that Yi Fan, her master who was only at the lower grade chi refining stage, would have any bad intentions towards her. Li Yu Huan could even replace him and become the ruler of this immortal sect. Therefore, she didn't have much respect for Yi Fan from the bottom of her heart. Little did she know that Yi Fan could always be a small realm higher than her. The faster she improved her strength, the stronger Yi Fan would become. Li Yu Huan could never suppress Yi Fan in terms of strength. Yi Fan spoke, "My name is Yi Fan and my sect is called the Moon Shadow Sect. Now that the three of you have joined our sect, you will begin by cultivating the introductory techniques. Each of you will be given a grade 9 spirit nourishing pill. The basic cultivation techniques provided in the Immortal Sect game are different from other cultivation techniques. The sect leader can directly click to use the basic techniques and impart them to his disciples. Disciples do not need to memorize by rote to learn. The Nangong sisters were naturally overjoyed as they had finally stepped into the threshold of cultivation. In this world where immortals and mortals coexist, who wouldn't want to be a long-lived immortal? Even the wealthiest mortal, living a peaceful and healthy life, can only live to be 100 years old. Immortals, on the other hand, live for a few hundred years at the shortest, and some live as long as the heavens. Many immortals with profound cultivation can easily live for tens of thousands of years. Becoming an immortal is the greatest dream of ordinary mortals. The two sisters were naturally very happy. After washing and grooming, the Nangong sisters were like two beautiful flowers, with clear eyes beneath their willow leaf eyebrows and dimples that made them exceptionally charming when they smiled. Another disciple, Li Yu Huan, still wore a veil so that no one could see her true appearance. Despite his seemingly unruly demeanor, Yi Fan remained unperturbed. "Sooner or later I will tame this wild horse. After teaching the three their cultivation techniques, he bestowed upon them 3 grade 9 spirit-nourishing pills. Yi Fan waved his hand. He said, "Go back to your rooms and cultivate yourselves." At present, the most important thing is still the disciples' cultivation level. The new user protection period is only 7 days. Yi Fan wished they could spend the entire 7 days cultivating. All 3 disciples were exceptionally beautiful. After all, the system rated her as a beauty with an ethereal appearance. But Yi Fan didn't know that once the 7-day newbie protection period ended, every immortal sect will become extremely dangerous. Only strength can protect one. Unlike some perverts who, even before their survival is guaranteed, dream of doing shameful things with pretty female disciples every day, he wouldn't. After hearing Yi Fan's words, the 3 returned to their rooms and began cultivating. Li Yu Huan was slightly disappointed. The 9th grade nourishing spirit pill was only the lowest grade pill. The immortal sect I joined was truly impoverished, but as long as they didn't try to harm my Dao bones, it was still a safe place to cultivate. Let's stay in this immortal sect for a few months for now. After the 3 disciples withdrew, the number of disciples I can recruit has reached its limit. Outside the immortal gate, everything was completely shrouded in black mist, making it impossible to see what was happening inside. You need to explore further before you can open the map hidden in the black fog. Yi Fan wasn't in a hurry to explore the black mist directly. Instead, he hoped to obtain more information from the chat room. Yi Fan returned to the system chat room, wanting to check on the other players' situations. I immediately noticed the private chat messages flashing in the corner. Yi Fan clicked to view. "Hey bro, can you tell me how to choose a chosen disciple? I'd love to be your girlfriend." My picture is below. Yi Fan immediately saw it, a picture of a fierce-looking little girl. After admiring it for a moment, he immediately closed the private chat. Although she was a fierce-looking little girl, her appearance was still far inferior to that of her 3 disciples. "Young man, I am Wang Dashui, the chairman of Marriott Group. If you tell me how to select your chosen disciple, I will give you 10% of Marriott Group's shares." After casually glancing at a few private messages, Yi Fan closed them all. These people who messaged me privately were all asking about the heavenly mandate disciple. I'm not stupid enough to tell others that I can see hidden information in the game. However, Yi Fan immediately thought of a way to make himself rich. Players are rewarded with a treasure chest by the system every day. If they are lucky, they may even get a Xuan-grade cultivation technique, elixir, or magic weapon. On the Ascension platform, there are also many purple, blue, and green disciples. You can sell disciples to obtain their treasures. Oh right, I haven't opened the treasure chest that the system rewarded me with today. With this in mind, Yi Fan first went to the system space. Open the free treasure chest you received as a reward today. Click to open the treasure chest. The box wasn't opened directly. Instead, 10 treasure chests reappeared before Yi Fan's eyes, allowing him to choose one to open. Undoubtedly, opening a treasure chest through the system is also a matter of great luck. Yi Fan could see the hidden attributes. The 10 treasure chests were of different qualities and divided into several categories. Wooden treasure chest, black iron treasure chest, bronze treasure chest, silver treasure chest. There are 4 wooden treasure chests, 4 black iron treasure chests, 1 bronze treasure chest, and 1 silver treasure chest. To everyone else, the 10 treasure chests were exactly the same, but Yi Fan, who could see the hidden attributes, immediately chose the best silver treasure chest. Green steel sword, a low-grade magic weapon. In the early stages of the game, this is considered a very good offensive magic weapon. I am now a master of both offense and defense. I have the azure steel sword for offense and the heavenly silkworm armor for defense, and it seems I can explore the mist surrounding the immortal sect. The higher a disciple's cultivation level, the greater his strength. Therefore, as the leader of the immortal sect, Yi Fan does not need to cultivate tens of thousands of people were speaking in the chat room, but because they had become players of the immortal sect. The entry-level skill is equivalent to the first level of the Qi refining stage. Yi Fan could clearly see the rapidly scrolling bullet comments. His current spiritual awareness far surpasses that of his former self. In the past, as an ordinary person, being able to read 10 lines at a glance was already considered the height of genius. With only the strength of the first level of Qi refining, he can easily read hundreds of lines at a glance. However, no information was gathered regarding exploring the fog. In contrast, the chat room mainly discusses information about the disciples. It's all over. I recruited 3 beautiful female disciples, but they have absolutely no potential for cultivation. They can't even learn basic techniques, and they can't sense the presence of spiritual energy. Whether I can cultivate or not doesn't matter to me at all. My 3 male disciples are all even more handsome than Xiao Lijun. With such handsome men, I'm satisfied for the rest of my life. Whether I can cultivate or not is completely irrelevant. What a brain-dead fangirl. Don't forget, the sex protection period only lasts 7 days. Disciples cannot cultivate during this time. After 7 days, you can just wait to die. Could any expert tell me how to find a disciple suitable for cultivation? I'm willing to trade a grade 9 spirit-nourishing pill for it. Can anyone help me find a chosen disciple? I got a high-grade spiritual artifact alchemy furnace from a treasure chest in exchange. Although he didn't find any information about the mist, Yi Fan found another piece of information he needed. On the first day of the new player bonus period, there is a 1 in 10 chance of opening a silver treasure chest. The odds seem low, but looking at the billions of players in the Zion Men game. In other words, hundreds of millions of silver treasure chests were opened. Hundreds of millions of bronze treasure chests were opened. There are so many nice things I need here. Since that's the case, there's no need for me to rush into exploring the fog. Selling disciple information in exchange for newbie benefits from other players is the truly profitable business. Anyway, I don't have enough resources to build rooms for my disciples right now. The 3 best disciples destined for greatness also joined their respective sects. With that in mind, Yi Fan decided to give it a try. Is it possible to turn the disciples' coordinates into commodities? Using his divine sense through the bronze mirror on the table, Yi Fan once again entered the ascension platform. Outstanding disciples are divided into 5 levels: green, blue, purple, red, and gold. Yi Fan has already taken all 3 unique golden ones into his own immortal sect, so he is not in a hurry to recruit disciples. Yi Fan first found a disciple with a red exclamation mark. Wang Zizai, bone age 38, cultivation level 9, martial artist, appearance, strange, spiritual root 82, gun spiritual root 78, destiny, possessed by a vengeful ghost. He also possesses a destiny, but his destiny is far inferior to that of his disciples. However, it also has advantages. It has already reached the pinnacle of mortal strength, possessing the power of a 9th-level martial artist. With the vengeful spirit lurking around him, he might also possess considerable fighting power. Such disciples possess considerable strength in the early stages of a cultivation sect. Even before Yi Fan's 3 golden disciples had fully developed, they were no match for this Wang Zizai. Exchanging a disciple of such high quality for something that comes out of a silver treasure chest is undoubtedly a huge loss. Yi Fan then floated toward a green exclamation mark. Sister Pomegranate, bone age 28, martial artist level 3, strength, outstanding appearance, spiritual root 20 points. The green quality is indeed much worse. There is no destiny or special spiritual root. Even the most basic spiritual root only has 20 points. Having learned about the different qualities of disciples, Yi Fan, since he was preparing to exchange items, needed to know the value of items in this immortal world. Yi Fan first carefully studied the classification of various items in the immortal world. Strength levels are divided into martial artist, chi refining, foundation establishment, spiritual enlightenment, golden core, spirit gathering, nascent soul, spirit division, tribulation transcending, and immortal ascension. Magical artifacts are classified into mortal artifacts, magical artifacts, spiritual artifacts, precious artifacts, mysterious artifacts, earth artifacts, heaven artifacts, divine artifacts, and immortal artifacts. The cultivation techniques are divided into 9 levels: yellow, mysterious, earth, heaven, god, immortal, saint, imperishable, and immortal. Treasure chests are categorized into the following levels: wooden chest, iron chest, bronze chest, silver chest, gold chest, platinum chest, diamond chest, legendary chest, and mythical chest. In the world of immortals, what is most lacking is cultivation techniques, even though both cultivation techniques and treasure chests have 9 levels. However, wooden treasure chests and black iron treasure chests cannot yield any martial arts techniques. The highest grade of cultivation technique that can be obtained from a silver treasure chest is a Xuan level technique, after determining the grade of all items. At the same time, Yi Fan also understood the meaning of green, blue, purple, red, and gold. Green represents an outstanding disciple, only slightly better than an average person. Blue represents elite disciples who are even stronger than outstanding disciples. Purple is a genius disciple, 1 in 10,000. The red disciples are peerless disciples who have already possessed a destiny, but their destiny is a weak one. The golden disciples are chosen ones, possessing great destiny. They are all people destined by fate. Yi Fan began uploading the coordinates of this green quality disciple to the trading hall. Information on the location of an outstanding disciple. Exchange for a Xuan level weapon or a Xuan rank cultivation technique. Excellent disciple location information can be exchanged for various high-quality pills. Yi Fan sent the information of 50 disciples with green quality to the trading hall. The system will automatically tell the disciples' coordinates as soon as someone makes a purchase. In order to sell their products faster, Yi Fan deliberately started spamming the chat room. A large number of outstanding disciples are available for sale in the trading hall. Hurry and grab them. A large number of outstanding disciples are available for sale in the trading hall. Hurry and grab them. A large number of outstanding disciples are available for sale in the trading hall. Hurry and grab them. After speaking 3 times in a row. Spamming is prohibited in the chat room. You can only speak again after half an hour. A system notification sound appeared, but Yi Fan didn't pay it any mind. With 3 consecutive advertisements, and given that everyone is currently at the first level of Qi refining, many people have seen Yi Fan's continuous barrage of ads. Yi Fan listed the coordinates of 50 outstanding disciples in one go. However, no one rushed to buy them at first. Firstly, many players are unaware of the risks of the game. They are only focused on enjoying the privileges of being the sect leader and haven't even opened the newbie gift pack on the first day. Secondly, they painstakingly acquire valuable items, only to exchange them for a single outstanding disciple. Everyone had just seen Yi Fan's transaction information. Everyone thinks he's ripping people off. This person wants to exchange information about just an outstanding disciple for our precious magic treasure. They think we're all fools. I'm more concerned about how he knew my disciple's spiritual root attributes. Perhaps someone has offered a magical artifact that allows one to examine a disciple's spiritual root, but the price is simply too high. Let's all boycott these unscrupulous merchants. Never trade your valuables for information about their disciples. In the chat room, a large number of messages insulting Yi Fan appeared, but Yi Fan didn't care at all. He's been running a shady business all along, so he's not worried about not having people buying information from him. Given the number of players in the Immortal Sect, it's destined that most will not have outstanding disciples, thus losing their potential for development. Yi Fan immediately uploaded information on 50 outstanding disciples. This might lead many people to believe that these outstanding disciples are not a scarce resource. If I'm lucky, I might be able to recruit even better disciples. Yi Fan wasn't in a hurry. When some players discover that their disciples are unable to cultivate at all and the 7-day newbie protection period is about to expire. Naturally, people will come to buy his disciple information. It's a seller's market now, even though there are millions of people on the entire Ascension platform. However, Yi Fan had already counted the number of disciples with outstanding or higher qualities, and it was less than 10,000. In other words, 99% of players are not lucky enough to find an outstanding disciple. Beep, beep, beep. Then a barrage of private messages started ringing in. Yi Fan opened the first private chat, and the first thing that popped up was a photo of a girl dressed very scantily cladly with a typical internet celebrity face. I'm a top streamer with millions of followers. My boss gave me information about an outstanding disciple. From now on, you'll be my #1 patron, and he'll send you bonus photos. Yi Fan glanced at the message and then closed it. He still preferred natural beauties and had no interest in artificial ones. The remaining dozens of private messages were all from people wanting to get information about outstanding disciples for free. Yi Fan completely ignored their private chat. Want it for free? Dream on, I'm not your father. However, one private message caught Yi Fan's attention. It's a girl named Wang Xiaomeng. In the chat of the Immortal Sect players, everyone uses their real avatars and names, which they cannot change themselves, and there are no beauty filters or effects. She looks to be only about 18 years old, with a cute and innocent expression. I have a high-grade heavenly rank cultivation technique here. I'm asking for 3 disciples of a higher rank than an outstanding disciple in exchange. If you're willing, we can trade, otherwise I'll try my luck. The attachment also includes information about the exercise. The Blue and Red Heart Sutra, a superior celestial rank. This is good stuff. Even for Yi Fan, the only treasure chests he could find were silver ones. To obtain a high-grade heaven rank cultivation technique, at least a platinum treasure chest is required. According to the rules of the game for players of the Immortal Sect, it's estimated that on the first day, only 1 in 100,000 new players will receive the platinum chest as part of the beginner's bonus chest. The key issue is that with such a low probability, it's still necessary to choose 1 out of 10. Those who can obtain a heaven rank cultivation technique on the very first day are absolutely 1 in a million. This girl is so lucky. Yi Fan didn't try to bargain, because Wang Xiaomeng had set the price firmly. She made it clear that Yi Fan was unwilling to change, so she would just randomly pick 3 disciples to try her luck. With this girl's incredible luck, she might actually be able to select an exceptional disciple. As for Yi Fan, because he can see the hidden information, he currently doesn't have enough resources to recruit more disciples. Anyone who doesn't use it to exchange for a heaven-rank cultivation technique is a fool, so Yi Fan replied with a message. Wait a moment, disciples of excellent quality are hard to find, it will take some time. Wang Xiaomeng received a reply from Yi Fan. A happy smile appeared on his face. As expected, his gamble paid off. Yi Fan could find a disciple even stronger than the outstanding one, after the 2 parties finalized the terms of the transaction. Yi Fan did not immediately use the bronze mirror on the table to go to the ascension platform to find new disciples. Instead, they continued to check private messages to see if anyone else had high-quality items they wanted to exchange with. Finding 3 disciples of blue rank wouldn't be difficult for him. It would only take a minute at most. There are at least several hundred elite disciples of the blue grade on the ascension platform, so Yi Fan doesn't need to worry about them all being snatched up by others. Yi Fan was stalling for time simply to make Wang Xiaomeng realize that finding elite disciples of the blue grade was not an easy task. If the other party thinks it's too easy, they will definitely try to lower the price of the disciples' coordinates. To Yi Fan's disappointment, the remaining private messages contained no useful information. 2 hours later, I've finally found the coordinates of the 3 elite disciples. Let's trade quickly. Wang Xiaomeng kept an eye on the chat window. She currently only has 1 heaven-rank cultivation technique and doesn't even have a single disciple. Besides checking chat messages, she has nothing else to do. Reply to Yi Fan immediately. I'm here, let's trade now. The 2 opened the transaction interface. Yi Fan placed the coordinates of the 3 elite disciples, and Wang Xiaomeng placed the heavenly rank cultivation technique. After both parties confirmed that there were no errors, transaction complete. Yi Fan obtained his first heaven rank cultivation technique, the Heart Sutra of Blue and Red. Moreover, it is a rare, top-grade heaven rank cultivation technique. Yi Fan used his ability to see hidden attributes to begin examining the information about the Azure Red Heart Sutra. The Azure and Crimson Heart Sutra, a superior-grade heavenly rank technique. The minimum requirement for cultivating a spiritual root is 50 points. There are no requirements for special attribute spiritual roots. Practicing this technique can raise one's cultivation level to the early nascent soul stage at most. By hiding information, Yi Fan now understood why cultivation techniques were so precious. It is not possible to go from a martial artist to a powerful immortal simply by practicing a single cultivation technique. Every technique has its own limits. For example, the basic cultivation techniques provided by the Immortal Sect system can only make disciples the lowest-level Qi refining stage cultivators. In other words, after the first wave of players who cannot recruit disciples with cultivation talents are eliminated, the cultivation techniques one practices will become a much-needed form of hard currency. However, that will happen a few days later. Only after surviving the beginner protection period will the cultivation techniques become increasingly important. Yi Fan now can try to exchange the cultivation techniques held by those players before they are eliminated, so that he can gain more benefits in the future. Just from the hidden information in a cultivation technique, Yi Fan had already conceived of future development plans. After obtaining the heavenly rank cultivation technique, Yi Fan naturally wouldn't allow his 3 disciples to learn ordinary basic cultivation techniques. For other disciples, they usually only have a dozen or so points of spiritual root. They can't even teach the heavenly rank techniques now. For Yi Fan, this was no problem at all. His 3 disciples, all of whom were of exceptional talent and had not yet cultivated immortality, already possessed over 150 points of spiritual root. It far exceeds the most basic requirements of a top-grade heavenly rank cultivation technique. Thinking about this, Yi Fan immediately used his divine sense to transmit his voice. He said, "You 3, come to the main hall for a moment so I can check on your cultivation progress." After receiving Yi Fan's telepathic message, the 3 female disciples. He immediately left his disciples' hut and went to Yi Fan's room. Yi Fan received his 3 disciples in the hall. In just a few hours, Yi Fan could already sense the differences between his 3 disciples. The Nangong sisters have already achieved the integration of spiritual energy into their bodies, which is the most difficult step for a martial artist to become a Qi refining stage cultivator. Only by sensing the spiritual energy between heaven and earth and absorbing it into their bodies can a martial artist become a cultivator and enter the Qi refining stage. The number of spiritual roots not only determines the speed at which one absorbs spiritual energy, but more importantly, it determines how much spiritual energy one's body can store. Only when the spiritual energy in the body reaches a certain quantity can it transform from quantity to quality, allowing the spiritual energy to nourish the physical body, thus entering the qi refining stage. Once you enter the qi refining stage, you are separated from both immortals and mortals. From then on, they became life forms of different species. The Nangong sisters had already sensed spiritual energy within just a few hours and possessed a small amount of spiritual energy within their bodies. It seemed that they would soon be able to enter the qi refining stage. As for Li Yu Huan, she was even more terrifying. Because she is the reincarnation of a celestial emperor, her cultivation speed is exceptionally fast. The spiritual energy within her body is already extremely rich, and she will soon become a 9th-grade qi refining stage cultivator. Yi Fan was very satisfied with the progress his 3 disciples had made in their cultivation. It seems that on the very first day, his disciple has already entered the qi refining stage. I should obtain more elixirs for them to cultivate with. Yi Fan said, it seems the 3 of you have all worked very hard. You should be able to enter the qi refining stage today. Yi Fan's words stunned Li Yu Huan. She was the reincarnation of a celestial emperor, and with her exceptional spiritual roots, cultivation naturally came naturally to her. However, to my surprise, the other 2 disciples recruited by this man were also able to reach the qi refining stage within a single day. In some major sects, it's not unusual for recruited disciples to reach the qi refining stage within a single day. However, within the major sects, they possess a wealth of rare and precious materials, making the spiritual energy within their immortal sect incredibly abundant. Furthermore, the true disciples all possess a vast quantity of high-grade elixirs. And Yi Fan's Moon Shadow sect, to put it nicely, it's a celestial sect. To put it bluntly, it's a rundown place, a small courtyard built by a minor cultivator in a place with spiritual energy. Li Yu Huan's original plan was to leave this immortal sect after entering the qi refining stage and find a place with abundant spiritual energy to cultivate on her own. She never genuinely wanted to join the Moonshadow sect. How could she, a reincarnation of a celestial emperor, possibly genuinely submit to a mere qi refining stage brat as her master? Unexpectedly, Yi Fan was able to easily recruit such an outstanding disciple. It seems that perhaps he really is, as he boasted, a reincarnation of an immortal emperor. Only those who enter the ascension realm are qualified to be called immortal emperors. There are only a few immortal emperors in this world. Li Yu Huan distrusted Yi Fan from the very beginning. If you carefully sense the presence of the Nangong sisters, you'll find that they do indeed possess spiritual energy, which is what truly alarmed Li Yu Huan. In such a weak immortal sect, such an ordinary cultivation technique, and such scarce spiritual energy. With the addition of a grade 9 spirit nourishing pill, such an effect can be achieved. Without extraordinary talent, it would be impossible. Yi Fan said, I've noticed your progress is rapid. I originally planned to wait until you reach the qi refining stage before teaching you our sect's advanced cultivation techniques, but now it seems I can teach them to you directly. This Azure Heart Sutra is a high-grade heavenly rank cultivation technique, requiring very high spiritual roots and cultivation potential. However, I believe you can all learn it. After speaking, Yi Fan clicked on the Transmit the Technique button. A vast amount of knowledge instantly entered the minds of the 3 disciples. Even if the 3 of them are people of good fortune, chosen ones by destiny. Faced with such a vast amount of knowledge, I almost lost myself and fell into chaos. The methods of cultivation are completely different from those in ordinary people's books. It's not that introductory techniques have a few hundred words, while advanced techniques have hundreds of thousands of words. The cultivation method itself is the perception of heaven and earth and all things, the application of spiritual energy, and the development of one's own physical body. This is a vast body of knowledge that cannot be described by simple words. The 3 disciples are still mortals, and it is extremely difficult for them to learn heaven-rank cultivation techniques with their mortal bodies. A long time passed. Li Yu Huan was the first to regain consciousness, at the first opportunity. Her body emanated a powerful aura, and she instantly broke through to the first level of qi refining. Yi Fan said, here are 2 grade 9 spirit nourishing pills. Go back to your room and cultivate. At this moment, Li Yu Huan obediently followed orders. He accepted the pill, bowed respectfully, and said, Thank you, Master, for bestowing upon me this cultivation technique. This disciple takes his leave. Li Yu Huan was only so polite because of Yi Fan's top-grade heaven-rank cultivation technique, the Azure Red Heart Sutra. She wasn't like the Nangong sisters, complete novices who had never experienced the world of cultivation. In the world of cultivation, the most important things are nothing more than a few things. First, there are cultivation techniques for immortality. Second, there are blessed lands and grottos. Third, there are Taoist companions. And fourth, there are rare and precious natural treasures. The number one cultivation technique. For a cultivator, finding a suitable cultivation method is an extremely difficult task. The high-grade heaven-rank cultivation technique that Yi Fan taught them was already a very systematic technique. Most importantly, this cultivation method only requires a spiritual root. There are no other requirements. This is extremely rare. It's important to know that many cultivation techniques require other spiritual roots. For example, various functional cultivation techniques require spear spirit roots, saber spirit roots, or sword spirit roots. Various 5 elements cultivation techniques require fire spiritual root, earth spiritual root, wood spiritual root, and so on. This Azure Red cultivation technique, a heaven-rank upper-grade technique, is the highest-level cultivation technique that talented martial artists can practice, and it's a technique that doesn't require any other spiritual roots. Such cultivation methods are the cornerstone of every powerful immortal sect. Only by possessing such a technique can one cultivate a large number of disciples. Originally, I planned to leave this dilapidated immortal sect after reaching the chi refining stage. But now, Li Yu Huan has decided to stay in this immortal sect for a while longer, a promising new sect, better than many established ones. Established immortal sects possess abundant resources, including rare and precious materials, and their internal spiritual energy is plentiful. However, with numerous disciples, the resources available to each individual are limited. I waited for almost another hour. The Nangong sisters finally came to their senses. The two sisters were much nicer to Li Yu Huan than she was to Li Yu Huan. The two knelt down together on the ground. He said in an extremely respectful tone, "Thank you, Master. This disciple is deeply grateful." The sisters held Yi Fan in the highest esteem. In their eyes, Yi Fan took them in as disciples from beggars who were on the verge of starvation and led them onto the path of cultivation. They can be considered their second parents. Yi Fan was quite satisfied with the Nangong sisters. This is what a good disciple is like, not someone like Li Yu Huan who doesn't know how to respect his teacher. Yi Fan also took out 4 pills. He said to the 2 men, "Give each of you two pills. Go and cultivate and strive to enter the chi refining stage today, embarking on the path of cultivation." After the Nangong sisters thanked Yi Fan again, they left his room. After the 2 people left, Yi Fan realized that what he lacked most right now was elixirs. Currently, his sect lacks abundant spiritual resources and rare, precious materials. Only through elixirs can disciples quickly acquire spiritual energy. Yi Fan set his sights on the trading hall. Perhaps we can exchange the disciples' information for some elixirs. Upon entering the chat lobby, Yi Fan immediately discovered something interesting. A player named Li Huan. We are currently recruiting in the chat room. I'm a pro gamer. Anyone who's watched my streams knows how good I am at this kind of progression game. I'm recruiting players for my affiliated sect. I'll tell you how to choose disciples and how to explore the mist and collect resources. Many players from various sects are criticizing him below, but Li Huan was not discouraged at all, and every now and then he would post an advertisement in the chat room. The world of immortals allows players to fight each other, plunder each other, and even kill each other to obtain resources. This game, the Immortal Path, is essentially a meat grinder. Only the strongest players are qualified to survive. It's not always necessary to kill the opposing sect to obtain resources. There is also an affiliated immortal sect here, to become a vassal of other powerful immortal sect players. This will grant you the protection of powerful players from various sects, but at the same time, half of the resources you acquire will automatically become someone else's resources. In other words, from then on, he lost all potential. He would give half of the resources he acquired to others, and with the remaining half, he would have to support his disciples. He would never have a chance to rise in the world again. Such advertisements recruiting affiliated immortal sects naturally attracted attacks from other players. On Earth, the era of slavery ended thousands of years ago. Who wants to be someone else's slave? Becoming a subordinate sect of immortals is, to put it nicely, being subordinate, to put it bluntly, being a slave. But Li Huan didn't care at all, no matter how many players cursed at him. He always timed his messages to 1 per minute, ensuring that his messages wouldn't be blocked by the game system. Seeing Li Huan's behavior, Yi Fan immediately knew that this player was not simple. Although most people are unwilling to become subordinate to the Immortal Sect. But that doesn't mean nobody is willing. Many people don't know anything about the Immortal Sect game. They have no idea how to develop their own Immortal Sect. It's better to live a miserable life than to die a good death. Many people can't survive the 7-day newbie protection period. If Li Yu Huan is truly a master player, then it's good to stay under a big tree and enjoy the shade. There are still many people willing to join his affiliated immortal sects just to survive. Yi Fan was certain that as long as he kept sending them like this. It's estimated that within 7 days they'll have at least several hundred men under their command, which would constitute a formidable force. If he really had any brains, he could have built up a force of hundreds of men. They survived the unknown crisis that would occur 7 days later. They must be a very powerful force. Yi Fan thought for a moment, wondering if he should also create a player alliance. After thinking about it, Yi Fan gave up. On Earth, Yi Fan was not considered a managerial talent, let alone a factory manager overseeing hundreds of people. Even a team leader with 10 or so subordinates wouldn't have that kind of ability. If he were willing to exchange information about outstanding disciples, he would certainly gain many affiliated immortal sects in return. However, managing hundreds of players is a very troublesome matter. Most importantly, he had already secured the best disciple on this ascension platform. He's not in a hurry to quickly build up his own power. One's core members must be at least strong individuals, elites capable of surviving 7 days. As for resources, even the combined resources of hundreds of ordinary players probably don't equal his. Thinking about this, Yi Fan decided to slow down the recruitment of players from affiliated immortal sects. If he himself doesn't survive 7 days, the world after the protection period ends. The other players definitely wouldn't survive either. Yi Fan was not in a hurry. What he's most anxious about right now is how to quickly obtain a large quantity of pills. Just as Yi Fan was worrying, he saw a useful piece of information. Haha, I'm rich. I discovered a huge medicinal herb garden in the fog, at least several hundred acres. There are still fools exploring the herb garden. Many players have already died there. The resource points in the black mist are guarded by many ferocious beasts. Oh no. There are so many rats in the herb garden, bigger than my dog, and they can breathe fire. Someone please save me. In just a few simple sentences, Yi Fan gathered a lot of information. The mist is open to exploration. It contains many vital resources for the development of immortal sects. However, this comes with risks. If you're not strong enough, you'll be killed by the monsters guarding the resource points. It would be incredibly dangerous for other players to explore resource points. But Yi Fan wasn't worried about any of that. He was protected by the heavenly silkworm armor and had the green steel sword as his weapon. In the early stages of the game, it could be considered the strongest being. Moreover, Li Yu Huan had already become a first-level Qi refining disciple. Yi Fan's personal strength automatically reached the second level of Qi refining. His current individual combat ability far surpasses that of others. If I'm only exploring the first layer of black fog, there shouldn't be any safety issues. Since there aren't many people willing to trade with me right now, let's explore the black fog first. Thinking of this, Yi Fan had a sudden thought. As a magical artifact, the heavenly silkworm armor automatically donned its protective charm, and he held the azure steel sword in his hand. They walked out of the main hall. When Yi Fan gets within 10 meters of the black mist in front of him will automatically disappear. The environment hidden within the black fog became very clear. Yi Fan also tried to penetrate the black mist with his divine sense. However, it was discovered that this was useless. The black mist could resist divine sense. The black mist will only dissipate when a player gets within 10 meters. This setting is somewhat similar to the fog of war in real-time strategy games. Only places that have been explored can be viewed with divine sense. Yi Fan proceeded cautiously. He did not explore along a straight line. Yi Fan has played quite a few games. For example, in most games, monsters closer to your base are weaker. The farther away the monster is, the higher its level and the more dangerous it is. Therefore, Yi Fan was walking in a circular route. He wanted to explore the terrain around his immortal sect circle by circle. Instead of finding a direction and trying your luck randomly. Anyway, these are all resources surrounding our sect. They'll be ours sooner or later. While ensuring your own safety, slowly explore the fog. Yi Fan wasn't in a hurry to acquire a large amount of resource points all at once. Yi Fan quickly explored the first ring of black mist. There is only one resource point, a small garden of several dozen square meters. The plants in the garden, which Blue Star didn't have, looked like beautiful flowers but were actually a kind of fruit, yellow berries. It is edible and contains a small amount of spiritual energy. It can be used as a substitute for spirit-nourishing pills. I've seen the hidden attributes. Yi Fan was overjoyed. Unexpectedly, this was only the first lap of exploration through the black fog. He solved the problem of insufficient elixirs on his own. Don't be fooled by the fact that this small garden is only a few dozen square meters. It contains hundreds of yellow berry grass plants. On each blade of grass, there were several yellow berries. It was enough for his 3 disciples to eat as much as they wanted for 7 days. In other words, if Yi Fan stops recruiting disciples, it will be at least in the short term. Yi Fan no longer needs to worry about the pills. Since he achieved his goal so quickly, Yi Fan decided to stop exploring the black mist. Just as Yi Fan was preparing to collect these ripe yellow berries, a buzzing sound filled the garden. More than a dozen giant wasps, each up to 15 centimeters long, flew out. These wasps were even bigger than dragonflies. The sound of wings flapping in the air can be described as extremely loud. They rushed towards Yi Fan at high speed. If an ordinary person were stung by such a ferocious and enormous wasp, even if he doesn't die, he'll need to be hospitalized for at least 2 weeks. However, Yi Fan remained calm. The heavenly silkworm armor boasts formidable defensive capabilities, capable of withstanding attacks from Foundation establishment stage cultivators. These wasps look fierce, but they haven't even reached the chi refining stage yet. Even some powerful martial artists can kill them. What is there to be afraid of about Yi Fan? These wasps couldn't harm him at all. Yi Fan swiftly swung the steel sword in his right hand. His chi refining stage 2 strength not only granted him magical abilities, their physical abilities also far surpassed those of ordinary people. The steel sword in his hand was too fast for Yi Fan to wield. A white light curtain formed in front of Yi Fan. This is because the sword was swung too fast, creating afterimages. To an ordinary person, it appeared as a curtain of light made of swords, enveloping the space in front of Yi Fan. It only took a short while. The swarm of wasps that charged towards Yi Fan was all killed by him. By killing the ferocious beasts guarding the garden, Yi Fan successfully obtained this resource point. Collect hundreds of ripe yellow berries from the garden into the system warehouse. Yi Fan decided not to continue exploring the black mist. The reason is quite simple. His 3 disciples all had such high talent in cultivation. Yi Fan should be able to enter the chi refining stage around tomorrow, and his strength will also increase. By then, he will have explored all the surrounding black mist, and his own safety will be more assured. Exploring the black mist requires leaving the protective shield of the Immortal Gate, meaning that there is a possibility of being killed by the ferocious beasts guarding the resource points while exploring the black mist. Yi Fan did not intend to take any risks if he was not strong enough. These resource points are all located near the Immortal Gate, and there isn't much difference between collecting them early or late. Upon returning to his sect, Yi Fan found some large leaves, with 5 yellow berries on each leaf, and placed them at the door of each of his 3 disciples. He transmitted his voice, saying, "Once you've digested the effects of the nourishing spirit pill, there are still yellow berries at the entrance. Focus on your cultivation and strive to enter the chi refining stage as soon as possible." Yi Fan continued to pay attention to information about other players. "I am your beloved younger brother, Xiao Zhan. Sisters, join my affiliated Immortal Sect, and from now on you will be my loyal fans. Wow, what a little brother. I want to join your affiliated Immortal Sect. My little brother is so handsome, I want to join too." Yi Fan had also heard of Xiao Zhan. It wasn't through his singing, nor his TV dramas, nor even his variety shows. Instead, through his WeChat moments, countless female fans called him little brother, said they wanted to have his babies, and loved him for life. Yes, he was the most popular young heartthrob before he transmigrated to this immortal world. Although her singing skills are average, she is hailed as the #1 singer. Although his acting skills are mediocre and he can only act in some cool, idol-driven dramas, his fans still call him an award-winning actor. This massive amount of traffic earned Xiao Zhan a nickname: the dream lover of 900 million girls. Xiao Zhan just posted a chat message recruiting affiliated Immortal Sects. It immediately received a warm welcome from a large number of female fans who joined in one after another. They didn't even consider whether they could survive for 7 days after losing half of their supplies. After seeing that it is effective, many celebrities and internet personalities have started to imitate Xiao Zhan, proactively revealing their identities in chat rooms. The entire chat room is now filled with messages recruiting affiliated Immortal Sects. There are also chat rooms that occasionally leak information. Now all I see are advertisements from various people recruiting affiliated Immortal Sects. This sight deeply saddened Yi Fan. He didn't care about the players who joined the affiliated immortal sects. Anyway, most of these people will be dead after the 7-day protection period ends. They were never going to develop in the first place, and now they've lost half their resources. They're basically not even worth being exploited. Chives can grow back quickly after being cut, but they will die 7 days after being harvested. Yi Fan has no sympathy for those who are deeply involved in the fan culture. I remained a detached observer throughout. However, to his surprise, Yi Fan received a pleasant surprise. Information about 50 outstanding disciples with green quality items is displayed in the trading hall. Now, surprisingly, people are starting to buy them. Wang Xiaoping was quite lucky. He actually opened a bottle of pregnancy elixir on the very first day. This is a spirit-nourishing pill that is far superior to those taken by martial artists and those in the qi refining stage. This is a pill suitable for cultivators at the foundation establishment, spiritual cultivation, and golden core stages. Most importantly, the bottle of pregnancy elixir he possessed was a rare grade 3 pregnancy elixir. This is a very important resource in the early stages of the game. It can quickly improve a disciple's strength during the qi refining stage. At first, Wang Xiaoping didn't care about his disciple's spiritual root. He obtained such a good initial elixir. Even if he recruits a useless disciple, with the help of his elixirs, he can definitely become a powerful cultivator in the early stages. Wang Xiaoping was very confident and also very arrogant because he felt he was lucky. He got such an excellent item from the newbie treasure chest on the first day. But reality quickly proved him wrong. Wang Xiaoping's first disciple was a carefully selected beauty. Even someone suffering from obesity still has a desire to look good. Having just joined his immortal sect, Wang Xiaoping gave the woman a grade 3 pregnancy elixir. The result was tragic. If it were a grade 9 spirit nourishing pill, the disciple he chose, with very poor cultivation talent and only 5 points in spiritual root, might still have a chance to survive. However, this is a high-grade, third-rank spirit nourishing pill. The immense medicinal power, like a tsunami, rapidly spread throughout the female disciple's body. And his female disciple has such pitiful spiritual root attributes. Even with desperate efforts to circulate the basic techniques, it was impossible to consume even 1/10 of the medicinal power. Within minutes, he bled from all 7 orifices, exploded, and died. Wang Xiaoping was not satisfied and chose another disciple. This time it wasn't a beautiful woman, but a burly man who was 2 meters tall and covered in muscles. Wang Xiaoping felt that the first failure was because the woman's physique was too delicate. They simply could not withstand the medicinal power of the grade 3 spirit-nourishing pill. This time, he recruited a strong man. It can definitely withstand the effects of the third-grade pregnancy elixir. However, the result disappointed him even more. This seemingly very strong man only has 3 points of spiritual root. This time, it didn't last 10 seconds before exploding and dying. After 2 consecutive failures, Wang Xiaoping finally understood a principle. Without outstanding disciples, the grade 3 spirit-nourishing pill in his hands is not a celestial elixir but poison, the treasure he received on his first day. Having outstanding disciples is naturally a very important treasure, but not having outstanding disciples is a different story. It's just trash, completely useless. There was only 10 spirit-nourishing pills in the bottle, and now it was impossible to purchase any high-quality ones from Yi Fan. Wang Xiaoping had no choice but to send a private message to Yi Fan for advice. He offered 6 pills in exchange for information about an outstanding disciple, asking Yi Fan if he was willing to make the trade. Just then, Yi Fan, who was bored, I happened to see his private message. Since the disciple information in the trading hall can't be sold right now, exchanging it for 6 grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills isn't bad. Yi Fan agreed to the deal. However, there were only 6 grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills available. Yi Fan selected an extremely ugly woman covered in coarse body hair from among the outstanding disciples and recorded her location information. Then he made the deal with Wang Xiaoping. If you didn't give me enough, you can't blame me for finding you such an excellent disciple. After the transaction is successful, Wang Xiaoping was overjoyed and immediately took on his 3rd disciple. Seeing the female disciple with a ferocious face, a height of 2 meters, and covered in black hair, Wang Xiaoping showed no disgust whatsoever. She was the only disciple he could count on. This time he learned his lesson, because he only had 2 grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills left, and he didn't give them to this outstanding disciple directly. Instead, they first taught him the basic techniques and then gave him the 9th grade nourishing spirit pill. Once this disciple has fully digested the 3 grade 9 spirit nourishing pills, he will be able to feel the spiritual energy entering his body. Only then did they administer the precious grade 3 spirit-nourishing pill to this disciple. This disciple painstakingly absorbed the immense medicinal power. Wang Xiaoping watched with great tension. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 hours later the disciple's flushed face calmed down. Wang Xiaoping was finally relieved. Yi Fan wasn't lying to him, he truly was an outstanding disciple. It can absorb the medicinal power of the grade 3 pregnancy elixir. Moreover, Wang Xiaoping could sense that his disciple was on the verge of breaking through to the qi refining stage. Wang Xiaoping was overjoyed. It was the first time he had experienced this. The huge difference between an outstanding disciple and a mediocre one. An ordinary disciple not only wastes pills, but is also unable to absorb high-grade pills. No wonder I used to stay home and read online novels. All cultivation sects prioritize a disciple's spiritual root when selecting one. With that in mind, Wang Xiaoping decided against recruiting any new disciples. It's not just that his current resources are running out. Most importantly, Wang Xiaoping recruited mediocre disciples twice in a row. He felt that his judgment was really bad. If you can still get good items from the newbie chest, you might as well use them to buy the outstanding disciples that Yi Fan has found. After Wang Xiaoping got his first client, in Yi Fan's trading hall, a large number of new customers immediately appeared. Amir Khan. He is a member of a prominent family in the Indian Kingdom of Earth. Their family is very united, somewhat like the rural areas of the old Dragon Kingdom, where the whole family lives in one village. After entering this world of immortals, they didn't rush into trying things out haphazardly. Instead, they created a family group chat. Amir Khan was a top student at an Indian technical university. Nature naturally became the backbone of their Emil family. His family was under the control of the Amir Khan. Explore the black mist and recruit disciples of various types. The efforts of hundreds of people working together and the results achieved will not be posted in the chat room. Instead, they communicate within their family's small group chat. Soon, the Amir Khan learned information that many others could not possibly obtain in a short period of time. First of all, exploring the black mist surrounding the Immortal Sect without sufficient strength is an extremely dangerous undertaking. The beasts guarding resource points are far more ferocious and powerful than the beasts on Earth. In fact, the proportion of outstanding disciples recruited is very low. On the Ascension platform, most people have no potential for cultivation. These people could not become powerful cultivators without spending terrifying amounts of resources. Amir Khan had good luck on the first day. He got a sword from the newbie gift pack, which was a low-grade treasure. The original intention was to train an outstanding disciple, but this disciple took a knife and went to explore the black mist. However, the burly man he had carefully selected looked even more ferocious than the war god of the Indian Mauryan dynasty. However, while exploring the black mist, they were chased by a kitten that was over 3 meters long. After finally escaping back to Amir Khan's gate, they were blocked by the shield of the newbie protection period. The disciple returned, but he had lost an arm and died from blood loss. Amir Khan also learned that the strength of a disciple is determined by whether or not they possess spiritual roots. The burly man he chose, although a martial artist, lacked spiritual roots and therefore could not unleash the full power of the treasure. In his hands, the power of a low-grade magic weapon is less than that of a wooden stick. The power of a magical artifact requires the infusion of spiritual energy to be effective. In the hands of someone without spiritual energy, a magical artifact is even less valuable than an ordinary wooden stick. Meanwhile, things were not peaceful within the Amir Khan family either, even though everyone was exchanging intelligence. However, the family is also selecting a patriarch. The strongest person becomes the clan leader, and everyone else becomes a subordinate immortal sect of the clan leader. A collateral descendant of the family, a fellow named Emil Horton, was originally just a guy who was about to become a servant of the family. They were incredibly lucky and gained an outstanding disciple. Emil Horton has gained the support of many collateral disciples and is showing signs of becoming the head of the family. Amir Khan, although he had the support of the family's veteran powerful members. However, in the world of immortals, their past wealth and power have lost their value. After his failed exploration of the Black Mist, Amir Khan began to slowly lose his advantage. He simply lacks a talented disciple. With this in mind, Amir Khan decided that he could not delay any longer. He originally planned to rely on his sword to explore the Black Mist and become the clan leader. But now that he has encountered some help, the longer he drags things out, the greater the gap will become between him and Emil Horton. With this in mind, Amir Khan immediately entered the trading hall of the Immortal Gate game. Find the transaction where Yi Fan sells information about the location of outstanding disciples. He put this low-grade magic weapon, a longsword, on the trading platform. Transaction complete. An item immediately appeared in Yi Fan's Immortal Sect game inventory. Wind-breaking blade, a low-grade magical artifact. Yi Fan was very happy to see this item. He now has 3 disciples, both in terms of strength and combat power. The strongest was definitely Li Yu Huan. It just so happens that Li Yu Huan's specialty was the knife. With this weapon, it would be a good thing for Li Yu Huan to explore the fog, after Yi Fan obtained the wind-breaking blade. In the trading hall, the speed at which his items were sold began to increase. Zhang San is a ruthless person. Back on Earth, I was a wicked villain who committed all sorts of evil deeds after arriving in the world of the Immortal Gate game. Zhang San's newbie gift pack contained a short sword. In addition, since his novice level was 1 level higher than that of a disciple, he automatically reached the first level of the Qi refining stage. Zhang San did something incredibly outrageous. He immediately recruited 3 disciples. After teaching the 3 people the basic techniques, he ordered them to practice quickly. Using his Qi refining stage 1 strength, he continuously observed the cultivation speed of his 3 disciples with his divine sense. An hour later, he killed 2 disciples who were cultivating slowly. As he had predicted, things turned out exactly as he had expected. A disciple's room can accommodate 1 disciple if that disciple dies. He then had a new recruitment quota. Zhang San relied on his short sword and his cultivation level of the first stage of Qi refining. In just over 10 hours, more than 20 disciples were replaced. Perhaps it's just that bad people are never very lucky. Surprisingly, out of the 20 disciples, not a single one was of an outstanding rank. All of them were beginners, and their cultivation speed was incredibly slow. This made Zhang San realize just how difficult it is to gain an outstanding disciple. He originally intended to use this method of constantly killing disciples. He found 3 outstanding disciples on the very first day, but reality left him in despair. If he tries this method for a few days, he might have a chance to succeed. However, in the game's Zionman, there is only a 7-day new player protection period. Following the typical gameplay pattern, after the new player protection period ends, they will definitely face a wave of attacks. If I wait several days, I won't have an outstanding disciple. If I cannot reach the Qi refining stage at the last moment, I fear I will not be able to protect my sect. Thinking of this, Zhang San gritted his teeth. On the evening of the first day, they chose the coordinates of the outstanding disciple who would trade with Yi Fan. A short sword has appeared in Yi Fan's system inventory. Iron-slaying sword, a low-grade magic weapon. As evening approached, Yi Fan initially thought it would be difficult to sell the coordinates of outstanding disciples in the trading hall today. Unexpectedly, a large number of transactions began to emerge at this time. Soon, all 50 of the disciples he had listed were sold. Yi Fan obtained a large number of pills, cultivation techniques, and magical treasures. These people are similar to Zhang San. They spent their first day trying various methods to find outstanding disciples. However, all of them failed. Outstanding disciples comprise only a fraction of the population on the Ascension platform. Cultivating immortality is no easy feat for mortals. These people worked hard all day but made no progress. Ultimately, they chose to use the newbie rewards from the first day to obtain the coordinates of an outstanding disciple from Yi Fan. At this time, suddenly, 2 vigorous auras emanated from Yi Fan's immortal sect. The Nangong sisters actually broke through to the first level of Qi refining at the same time, as expected of the Golden Chosen One. Relying solely on 3 of the lowest grade 9th rank spirit nourishing pills, he actually broke through to the Qi refining stage within a single day. Now, all 3 of Yi Fan's disciples have finally reached the Qi refining stage. I've just acquired a large number of magical treasures. Yi Fan was not a stingy person. I plan to distribute some of these newly acquired magical artifacts to my 3 disciples, make them stronger. At this time, suddenly a system notification came through. Congratulations to player Yi Fan, all 3 of your disciples have entered the Qi refining stage. You are awarded a platinum treasure chest. Suddenly, I received this announcement for all players. Even the usually noisy chat room of the Immortal Sects fell silent for a brief moment. A few seconds later, new comments appeared. Is Yi Fan cheating? Not only did he recruit 3 outstanding disciples, but all 3 became Qi refining stage cultivators on the very first day. I'm so envious of Master Yi Fan. My disciple only managed to sense spiritual energy during cultivation all day. The process of spiritual energy entering the body hasn't even been completed yet. Then why don't you hurry up and recruit new disciples? It's obvious this disciple has no potential for cultivation. All 3 disciple slots are full, and building disciple rooms requires spirit wood, but I have no idea where to find it. The chat room quickly went off topic. The 3 disciples who envied Yi Fan had all reached the chi refining stage. In fact, most people don't have such strong feelings. After all, most people were just ordinary people on Earth yesterday. Today, I suddenly became the head of a celestial sect. They lacked any awareness of being a sect leader and were unaware of how dangerous the immortal world was. It's far beyond the comfortable life on Earth. Most people even found it quite fun. Although the immortal sect is shrouded in black mist, there is food and drink available here. Even ordinary people can recruit handsome men and beautiful women who were previously unimaginable as their disciples. For example, there's this guy who actually recruited a royal princess, and he's currently humming and hawing about it, not caring about cultivating immortality at all. An ugly, chubby girl found 3 handsome young men to be her disciples. A multiplayer free-for-all is currently underway. They felt extremely happy in a world like the Immortal Sect, receiving benefits they could never have imagined before. As for the safe period that would end in 7 days and the dangers they would face after the Immortal Gate's protective shield disappeared, they didn't care about any of that at all. But some people are different. They were all elites, much like the Amir Khan. Once they joined the world of immortals, they had already relinquished their former noble status. They began experimenting with the world's specifications and made full use of other players, providing them with far more information than ordinary players. These people understood even more how difficult it was to find a good disciple. To enable a disciple to become a chi refining stage cultivator in a single day is an incredibly difficult task. Yi Fan's server-wide announcement. Yi Fan immediately attracted the attention of many people and powerful forces. These people were already elites on Earth. Only 0.3% of the population owns half of the world's wealth. For most people, money is a lifelong pursuit, but in the eyes of this group, it is merely a tool to manipulate and control others. And many of these people, after arriving in the world of immortals, remain among the elite of the elite. They soon discovered the truth about the immortal world. Whoever possesses powerful disciples and a large number of elite disciples, whoever is the ruler of the immortal world. This power is even more stable and stronger than it was on Earth before. They could even obtain immortality, something they had been pursuing for thousands of years but had never achieved. One can have a lifespan of 200 years at the chi refining stage. One can gain a lifespan of 300 years during the foundation establishment stage. One can gain a lifespan of 500 years during the spirit transformation stage. One can gain a lifespan of 1,000 years at the golden core stage. One can gain a lifespan of 3,000 years by reaching the spirit gathering stage. The lifespan of those in the nascent soul stage can reach tens of thousands of years. It's important to understand that the human civilization on Earth, from the moment writing was invented to the present day, has only existed for 7,000 years. No matter how elite a person is, they enjoyed the world's prosperity and all the rights and wealth available to them. But what they also pursue is immortality. Even the golden families who held the fate of dozens of countries in their hands also yearned for immortality. These people were extremely interested in Yi Fan. At the same time, numerous targeted conspiracies were also launched. These are the important figures from the Blue Star era. They want to do something that's not like what ordinary people do. They either post revealing photos or resort to threats, inducements, and all sorts of incompetent rants. These are all basically useless things. Yi Fan then stopped paying attention to the chat room content. He opened the system repository. A gleaming white platinum treasure chest sits in his warehouse. Open the platinum chest. This time there are no longer 10 options. There are only 3 treasure chest options. The first item is a cultivation manual. The void cultivation technique, a low-grade heavenly rank technique, is suitable for people with congenital kidney deficiency and has remarkable effects. Yi Fan already possessed a better cultivation method, and this method would cause kidney deficiency, so naturally Yi Fan would not choose it. A 6th-grade sword spirit fruit increases a cultivator's sword spirit root by 3 points. This is good stuff. It can be given to Nangong Fakesu, which will further enhance her talent in swordsmanship. The 4 Beasts Mountain Suppressing Stone is a low-grade earth-rank magic artifact. It is carved with the 4 auspicious beasts: Azure Dragon, Black Tortoise, White Tiger, and Vermilion Bird. It can suppress the fortune of the Immortal Sect and increase the spiritual energy within the sect. See the third item. Yi Fan no longer hesitated in the slightest. I directly chose the 4 Beasts Mountain Suppressing Stone. These were exactly the supplies that Yi Fan's Immortal Sect desperately needed. He has three exceptionally talented disciples, and what they lack most right now is the spiritual energy within the Immortal Sect. This slowed down the cultivation speed of the three disciples. With this four beasts mountain suppressing stone, Yi Fan's Immortal Sect's spiritual energy will be even more abundant, and his disciples will be able to cultivate faster and faster. This is undoubtedly what we need most right now. A stone the size of an egg appeared in Yi Fan's palm. After Yi Fan sealed the bond with his blood, he infused spiritual power into the four beast-suppressing rocks. The small stone began to float in the air. It flew towards the entrance of its own immortal sect. It fell to the ground and turned into a large rock about 1.5 meters long, wide, and high. After the four beasts that suppressed the mountain landed, a large amount of spiritual energy surged into the air surrounding the immortal gate. Yi Fan could clearly feel that the spiritual energy in his immortal sect was now 30% more concentrated than before. Just a single stone can increase the cultivation speed of disciples within the immortal sect by 3 levels. We really need more of these amazing treasures. The Nangong sisters and Li Yu Huan immediately sensed the change in the spiritual energy of the immortal sect. Yi Fan's former sect was in a very poor state. The only places rich in spiritual energy were his main hall and 3 small disciples' huts. It can be said that it is a simple, down-and-out immortal sect. With such meager spiritual resources, the immortal sects don't even have the simplest spirit-attracting array. Now, suddenly, I feel that the spiritual energy of heaven and earth is incredibly abundant. All 3 of them were very happy. It seemed that if they cultivated all night, they might be able to break through to the second level of chi refining tonight. At this moment, the 3 of them suddenly received a telepathic message from Yi Fan. You 3 come here for a moment, I have something to tell you. The Nangong sisters immediately left the disciples' room, neither daring to disobey Yi Fan's orders in the slightest. Li Yu Huan pouted, slightly annoyed. For some unknown reason, the spiritual energy in the immortal realm has become abundant, making it an ideal time for cultivation. That damned Yi Fan, he actually called her again, disturbing her cultivation. For those who cultivate themselves, time flies like a shooting star. You might sit down once and months or even years could pass by. Li Yu Huan hated this kind of thing. He was summoned twice in one day. How annoying. However, this is, after all, Yi Fan's immortal sect. She wasn't as naive as the Nangong sisters. Although she didn't know the grade of the magical treasures Yi Fan possessed, Li Yu Huan knew she was far from being Yi Fan's match. In the world of cultivation, that's how it is. Whoever is stronger is right. There are no worldly principles here. Those who cultivate immortality believe only one thing, might makes right. Although she was very dissatisfied, Li Yu Huan stopped cultivating. After leaving the disciples' room, they followed the Nangong sisters into the sect leader's hall. I glanced at the 4 mountain-suppressing stones halfway through. What a wonderful treasure. It turns out that the increase in spiritual energy within the immortal sect was due to the addition of a mountain-suppressing stone. Yi Fan remained seated in the middle chair. He said to the 3 of them, I am very pleased that all 3 of you have entered the chi refining stage. Indeed, you 3 are all exceptionally talented in cultivation. I called you here to bestow upon you some protective magical treasures. After he finished speaking, more than a dozen magical treasures appeared in front of Yi Fan. Nangong Feixu chose the iron-slaying sword. Her destiny and spiritual roots would lead her to focus on the path of the sword. Li Yu Huan naturally chose the wind-breaking blade. Her destiny was to be suited for the blade. Nangong Qiushui hesitated for a long time but couldn't find her favorite magic weapon. According to her destiny, she preferred the alchemy furnace. Yi Fan's dozen or so magical treasures were all offensive. In the end, she chose the steel sword, the same weapon as her sister, even though she didn't like swords. She just wanted to have the same weapon as her sister. After seeing that the 3 people had made their choices, Yi Fan took out the 6 grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills he had obtained. He said, each of you will receive 2 grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills. Try to break through to the second level of chi refining tonight. Starting tomorrow, you will explore the black mist surrounding the immortal gate with me. There will be many ferocious beasts inside. After saying that, Yi Fan waved his hand. He said, you may all step back. Yi Fan was rather aloof, not because he didn't want to be enthusiastic. Yi Fan had no idea how he could stand in the corner with 3 stunningly beautiful women who, even without makeup, looked more beautiful than celebrities in his previous life after plastic surgery, makeup, and beauty filters. Back on Earth, a woman like that would have been an unattainable fairy to him. In this game of immortals, the 3 women are merely his disciples. Yi Fan didn't want to appear too enthusiastic, lest he, a sect leader who could see hidden information, seem like a sycophant. I also didn't want to appear too cold. He could only sit upright in the sect leader's chair, pretending to be a reclusive master, not too close nor too distant. After the 3 female disciples left, everyone was very happy. Even the usually aloof Li Yu Huan was very happy. The grade 3 spirit nourishing pill is a valuable item. The effect of just one pill is greater than that of hundreds of grade 9 spirit cultivation pills. With these 3 pills, she felt that tonight, not only would she be able to break through to the 2nd level of chi refining, but she also wouldn't have any problem reaching the 3rd level. A low-grade magic weapon, the Wind-Breaking Blade, is an extremely powerful weapon that she can obtain with her current strength. If it were a native immortal sect, many golden core cultivators would fight to the death for a single magical artifact. Not to mention the 1st-level spiritual cultivators, who would risk their lives to obtain a magical artifact. Chi refining, foundation establishment, spiritual awakening, golden core, this is a weapon that she could only obtain after surpassing 4 levels. Moreover, the sect leader possesses more than a dozen such weapons. Originally, Li Yu Huan thought it was just an extremely impoverished immortal sect, but upon seeing so many treasures, she realized she was wrong. With such wealth, sect leader Yi Fan was no ordinary person. As night fell, the difference was immediately apparent. This is the difference between chi refining stage cultivators and ordinary people, because all players start at the 1st level of chi refining. At first, most people did not realize how different they were from ordinary people. It can only store a small amount of spiritual energy within its body. Most people don't actually use spiritual energy. Apart from feeling a little lighter than before, there wasn't much difference. But night fell, many players are different. All the players were enveloped in black mist. The immortal realm still exists in both day and night. After dark, there were no lanterns, let alone electric lights or anything like that. The entire immortal sect was plunged into darkness. The disciples who were still at the level of martial artists had already gone to bed early. In the lower realm, it was like the ancient world of Blue Star. After dark, there's nothing to do. The players of the immortal sect were also getting ready to lie down in bed and go to sleep, but after about 10 minutes they couldn't fall asleep. Powerful immortals don't need to sleep at all. The 1st level of chi refining is merely the entry threshold for cultivating immortality, but they are completely different from ordinary mortals. The reason is simple. They can enter a meditative state quickly, requiring only a 10-minute rest. That already meets the sleep requirements for a day. The room was empty and dark. Unable to fall asleep, most of the disciples were still mortals and needed to sleep. These players from the immortal sects were starting to get completely bored. Fortunately, there's still the chat room in the immortal sect system. So many players started bragging about it in the chat room. I was lucky enough to receive a daughter from the family of a prefect. I never imagined that someone so innocent-looking would be so alluring in private. Brother, you're lucky. I recruited a pair of twins. It's a unique experience. This young lady has recruited 3 handsome young men. Their looks are probably even better than Pan and of ancient times. I'm so lucky. These are players who are completely unaware of the dangers of the immortal world. These are players who are destined to be eliminated in 7 days. Yi Fan even found these people quite boring and hoped that the 7-day safety period would end soon so that these mindless comments would stop. He found that there was less and less useful information in public chat rooms. These are all people who haven't realized the danger yet, and they're the ones speaking. At this time, Yi Fan received a private message. It was the first item he traded with, sent by a woman named Wang Xiaomeng. Yi Fan clicked to view. Brother Yi Fan, would you be interested in joining my chat room? It's full of players with outstanding disciples. Upon hearing this, Yi Fan understood. Why is there less and less useful information on public channels? Many players have formed alliances. They only chat with their affiliated immortal sects. Some players have already formed powerful alliances. They could be former colleagues or close friends in real life. It could also be someone from a large family. They joined forces, interacting only in their own chat group, sharing information and discussing future developments. Therefore, the public chat groups are only for those who are unaware of the dangers of the immortal world. People who thought it was just a fun and enjoyable game are still idly bragging. I can't sleep anyway. Yi Fan agreed to join Wang Xiaomeng's group chat. After joining the group chat, Wang Xiaomeng was the first to speak. Welcome Yi Fan to our loving family. It was immediately and warmly welcomed by the people in the group. Welcome expert, welcome expert, welcome expert. A row of welcome comments made Yi Fan feel a little warm. On Earth, Yi Fan was an orphan with little education and could only make a living by writing online novels. In the writers group, I saw people who earned a lot of money every day. They'll just say, "Welcome, big shot." Yi Fan replied decisively, "I'm just a nobody, not a big shot." Yeah. A series of question marks came from below, and only then did Yi Fan remember. This isn't a chat group for struggling writers on Earth anymore. It's actually a chat group for elite players of the Xianmen game. I glanced at the members in the group. Besides myself, there were only 5 girls. Wang Xiaomeng, Li Lili, Zhang Feng, Wang Yufei, Liu Yi. Surprisingly, it's mostly girls. It's rare for girls to read online novels, especially pretty girls. My real-life schedule is packed with activities every day, so where would I find the opportunity to read online novels? You can tell who the girls in this group are just by looking at their profile pictures. On Earth, they were all women Yi Fan could never reach. Not to mention that they are all rich and beautiful, they all come from very good families. A woman from a wealthy family and beautiful, Yi Fan would never have been able to come into contact with such a woman in his previous life on Earth. Although many people find it ironic, it is indeed the reality. For example, Yi Fan had seen a female internet celebrity. She showed off her preparations before going out, including various face masks, skincare products, and cosmetics, which Yi Fan couldn't understand at all. Like most women, she couldn't distinguish Ultraman's name, but he understood the total price. A beautiful woman's makeup routine before going out costs at least 500 yuan. Would someone really spend 500 yuan to go out just to have a meal with you that only costs a few dozen yuan? It sounds ironic, but that's reality. But things are different now. These women who were once high and mighty now have no choice but to fawn over him. Through simple chat, Yi Fan also learned about their situation. The 5 of them are students at an art school. No wonder they're all so beautiful. Rumor has it that the most beautiful girls at that art school often marry rich second-generation heirs right after graduation, while the second most beautiful ones enter the entertainment industry. Of course, this is just speculation among ordinary people. Very few people actually know the inside story. An art school has hundreds or even thousands of students a year, plus other grades, so it's impossible for Wang Xiaomeng to be the only one with 5 students. Only 5 people joined the group. That's because among the people Wang Xiaomeng knows, only those 5 have recruited outstanding disciples today. The 5 of them are actually still in a group chat created by their classmates at school. Wang Xiaomeng is no ordinary woman. She quickly identified the other 4 as disciples of exceptional caliber. Pull these 4 people together. Her motives weren't exactly innocent. The first step is to unite their strengths and ensure that the 5 of them can survive together in the world of immortals. Another point, they rely on their beauty to gain a powerful backer. And this powerful backer is none other than Yi Fan, who can find outstanding disciples. The future is uncertain, but at least for now, Yi Fan holds the advantage. Wang Xiaomeng estimated that Yi Fan had obtained a magic weapon that allowed him to examine the spiritual roots of his disciples. Therefore, he can recruit a large number of outstanding disciples in the early stages. Such a person is of great help to all of them. The difference between outstanding disciples and ordinary disciples can be enormous. Yi Fan had a very pleasant chat with the 5 girls. These beautiful girls were different from the aloof girls he had imagined. He was very kind and even spoke in a very pleasing way, making Yi Fan feel relaxed and at ease. Soon, their conversation turned to the black mist outside the Immortal Gate. Wang Yufei, I heard some useful information from another group. There's a large amount of wood in the black mist, which can be used to build rooms for disciples. Zhang Feng, these resource points are usually guarded by monsters, right? How did that person defeat the monsters? Wang Yufei, that person is very clever. Unable to determine the spiritual route, he recruited 3 top-tier martial artists. Plus, he himself was a martial arts substitute and possessed considerable strength, thus opening up many resource points. As art university students, they joined various TV drama production crews before graduating. Wang Yufei's family background is considered good among ordinary people, but in the entertainment industry, it can only be considered very poor, as there are plenty of rich kids worth hundreds of millions here. Therefore, she could only take on roles with lines such as maids at film and television shooting bases. Film and television bases are also divided into different levels. Popular actors and renowned directors are naturally high and mighty. There are also some supporting actors, etc., who are not on the same level as Wang Yufei. Her small circle at the film and television shooting base mainly consisted of extras with lines and stunt doubles. These people have a higher status than the extras who can only play corpses to make up the numbers. A skilled stunt double can earn tens of thousands of yuan for a single dangerous stunt, which is no less than the income of those who rely on their looks and only have a few lines. For example, the big brother of Hong Kong's martial arts actors started out as a stuntman. Wang Yufei's intelligence is very important. It means that the strength of just a few martial artists is enough to occupy some useful resource points in the Black Mist. This also reflects Yifan's limited social circle. Yifan is a struggling, nerdy writer. He has no friends in real life and he is an orphan. There is no such chat group at all. He used to be a member of dozens of groups of struggling authors. However, for writers, the biggest taboo is revealing their real information, book titles, pen names, etc. in the group. Don't be fooled by the lively chatter in the group. Today, one person is vowing to update more than 10,000 words a day, and another is aiming to climb the top of the leaderboard. In fact, I don't even know other people's pen names or works. Not to mention real-life names and appearances, it would be impossible to create a group chat. Yifan then realized that he was still incredibly lonely in the world of immortals, if it weren't for the fact that it allows access to hidden attributes in the game Immortal Gate. Yifan will not be added to the group chat by Wang Xiaomeng. There are only 6 people in this group. Unlike Yifan, the others had several other group chats. There was only Yifan in the group chat and only this one pitiful group chat. However, this group chat is different from a regular group chat. The people inside are practically the legendary figures among struggling writers. They all possess a lot of information that ordinary players don't know. The girls shared some information that most people wouldn't know. Wang Xiaomeng spoke up, saying, "Brother Yifan, could you provide us with some useful information?" What Wang Xiaomeng most wanted to know was how Yifan managed to find an outstanding disciple among tens of thousands of people on the Ascension platform. The other women were also very eager to know. That's their real purpose today. Before adding Yifan to the group, Wang Xiaomeng explained Yifan's situation. As a result, the women all became experts in social interaction. First, through enthusiastic chatting, both parties feel that they are good friends. He then offered some information that he knew. Only at the very end did they ask Yifan what information he had. And they deliberately didn't say it outright. What they wanted to know was how Yifan discovered outstanding disciples. Yifan is a typical otaku, a lonely, struggling writer. I almost fell into their trap. As the only person who could see the hidden information, Yifan naturally wouldn't reveal his secret. However, we can still tell them information that others will also know in the future. Yifan said, "Based on my observations over the past day, what this world lacks most is cultivation techniques, especially one that doesn't require a special spiritual root. I hope you can obtain one." After listening to Yifan's words, the chat group was silent. A long time passed. Wang Xiaomeng then asked, "What is a spiritual root? What is a special spiritual root?" Others cannot see the hidden information and are unaware that cultivating immortality requires spiritual roots. Yifan continued typing, explaining, "The higher one's spiritual root, the better their cultivation potential." Besides ordinary spiritual roots, there are also things like fire spiritual roots, earth spiritual roots, and so on. Many cultivation techniques require special spiritual roots to complement them, and not every disciple can cultivate them. Therefore, having a cultivation technique that doesn't require special spiritual roots is extremely important. Yifan's words were firmly remembered by the 5 women. This is truly a very important piece of information. There are even special spiritual roots. This Immortal Sect game is more complicated than they imagined. What's even more difficult is the cultivation method, which must be matched with different spiritual roots. This is incredibly difficult, and they don't even know if their disciples have special spiritual roots that allow them to cultivate those techniques. Upon hearing this information, the 5 women's eyes lit up, and they hurriedly asked, "Brother Yifan, could you help me determine what kind of spiritual root my disciple has?" "Yifan, I can see some of the disciples' information on the Ascension platform, but I don't know if I can see it through video chat." As soon as Yifan finished speaking, he received friend requests from the 5 women. After Yifan added the contact, he immediately received a video call invitation. The first one in line is Zhang Feng, a short-haired woman with a very heroic air. She had only one outstanding disciple, a woman in her 20s, wearing soft armor and carrying 2 long swords on her back. Clearly, he was an outstanding martial artist before joining the Immortal Sect. Li Yu Huan, bone age 25, spiritual root 28, sword spiritual root 21. Yifan saw Zhang Feng's disciple's information through video chat, so he messaged her privately saying, "Your disciple possesses a sword spirit root, making her suitable to become a sword cultivator." It took Zhang Feng a long time to realize what was happening. The reply was, "Thank you, Brother Yifan." What surprised her was Yifan's appearance. Yifan hadn't looked in a mirror recently. Although there was a bronze mirror in the room, he went straight to the Ascension platform. He doesn't even know how handsome he really is. There is also a hidden attribute in the game Immortal Gate. It means adding the strongest attribute from one of the disciples to oneself. Yi Fan's three disciples' greatest attribute was not their destiny, but their ethereal beauty. It possesses top-tier charm attributes. This has led to Yi Fan, now blessed with the three immortal techniques, becoming incredibly handsome, surpassing even the 36 heavenly trials. Although Zhang Feng had seen many handsome men in the Blue Star entertainment industry, he had never seen a man as handsome as Yi Fan. That's why she was stunned just now. Yi Fan is so handsome. Zhang Feng's heart was pounding just from the video chat. After chatting with the other four women, Yi Fan pointed out the spiritual root attributes of their four disciples. The attitudes of all five women changed immediately after they video chatted with Yi Fan. At first, they only regarded Yi Fan as a big shot. Having a powerful player who can see a disciple's attributes is definitely a huge help in the early stages of the game. But now, after seeing Yi Fan's appearance, she was thinking about how to become Yi Fan's woman. Yi Fan also found it difficult to get information from these five women who were undoubtedly well-connected. For a time, Yi Fan, who wasn't good at chatting with beautiful women, found himself having a very pleasant conversation with five women. Yi Fan didn't end the chat in the group until dawn the next day. While chatting with beautiful women was tempting, in Yi Fan's mind, developing his immortal sect was far more important. After bidding farewell to the five women, he summoned his three disciples. Yi Fan stared at the black mist before him. He introduced himself to his three disciples. These black mists will automatically dissipate when we approach within 10 meters. There are various cultivation resources within the mists, but be careful, as ferocious beasts also guard them. Li Yu Huan drew her wind-breaking blade and walked at the forefront. He said, "Master, let me lead the way." The Nangong sisters, upon seeing Li Yu Huan's appearance, realized they were about to embark on a dangerous exploration and quickly drew their weapons. Yi Fan said, "You two stay behind Li Yu Huan. If you encounter any ferocious beasts, immediately help them. Don't worry, I will protect your safety." Although the Nangong sisters are both beautiful women with ethereal looks, they appear as delicate flowers. But Yi Fan wouldn't indulge the two of them. They must learn how to fight. 6 days later, the protection period of the Immortal Sect ended. You will face attacks from various monsters, invasions from native Immortal Sects, and players from other Immortal Sect games. A disciple without fighting ability is no better than a dog. As the reincarnation of the Celestial Emperor, Li Yu Huan's combat prowess is what Yi Fan is most confident in. Yi Fan even wanted to see how she would fight. Yi Fan was not good at fighting either. Let alone Yi Fan, among the Immortal Sect players on Blue Star, if there's even one person out of 10,000 who excels in combat, that's already quite remarkable. After all, most people on Earth live in peaceful times. They've long forgotten how to kill. What Yi Fan wanted most was the legendary resource in the Black Mist that could be used to build an immortal sect. Although he had taken in his three best disciples into his immortal sect, however, there were also a dozen or so red-ranked disciples whose attributes were equally good. They would be excellent for recruiting inner disciples. I have read a wide variety of online articles. Yi Fan has categorized his future disciples into the following groups: true disciples, inner disciples, outer servants. This is also a common theme in many fantasy novels, highlighting the different distinctions made among disciples within a single sect. In the world of cultivation, resources cannot be distributed fairly. A world where might makes right. The stronger the disciple, the better the cultivation resources. Yi Fan looked down on those disciples with green or blue qualities. However, red quality disciples are also quite good as inner disciples, and purple quality disciples are good as outer disciples. After all, players from other sects are considered to be doing quite well if they even have a green-level disciple. Li Yu Huan led the way to explore the Black Fog. The Nangong sisters were in the middle, with Yi Fan bringing up the rear. They soon discovered a resource point. This is a medicinal herb garden, much larger than the small one next to the Immortal Gate, which is only a dozen square meters in size. It's several hundred square meters. The guardian of the herb garden is a tree spirit. A willow tree that is 7 or 8 meters tall. As Li Yu Huan approached, the willow branches like whips attacked him. The wind-breaking blade in Li Yu Huan's hand shimmered with a soft white light. He simply swung the knife forward lightly. A burst of spiritual energy instantly cleaved thousands of willow branches into pieces. These willow branches appear incredibly sturdy and aggressive. Before Li Yu Huan's single blade, they were like tofu flying everywhere, so utterly vulnerable. Li Yu Huan's blade continued its trajectory without pause, flying backward without stopping. The willow tree in front of me instantly snapped in two. The battle was decided in an instant. so competitive. Both the Nangong sisters and Yi Fan were incredibly surprised by Li Yu Huan's fighting prowess. All three of them were complete novices when it came to cultivating immortality. After a day of cultivation with the help of 6 grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills, although the Nangong sisters also reached the 3rd level of Qi refining, Yi Fan's strength had reached the 4th level of the Qi refining stage, however, without a magic weapon. Even if Yi Fan and the Nangong sisters were all together, they wouldn't be a match for Li Yu Huan. This is not a matter of personal strength, but rather a matter of how one uses that strength. The three of them were once ordinary people. Although entering the Qi refining stage has made them immortals, they do not know the fighting style of immortals. Li Yu Huan's strike perfectly combines spiritual power and magical artifacts. This is something that someone like Yi Fan, who has just entered the Qi refining stage, could never imagine. Yi Fan thought to himself, "It seems I need to quickly master the combat style of cultivators. Otherwise, even if the sect leader is a level stronger than the disciples, it's not a safe bet at all in the cultivation world." Killing enemies far stronger than themselves is far too easy, with Li Yu Huan clearing the way. Exploring the black fog was easy and enjoyable. The second layer of black mist was quickly explored. There is a medicinal herb field of several hundred square meters and a small forest with several thousand spiritual trees. There is a mine that can produce thousands of stones rich in spiritual energy. Materials for building the disciples' rooms have been found. Yi Fan then decided not to explore the 3rd circle of black mist. Relying on Li Yu Huan's combat prowess, the 3rd circle of black mist should be quite easy for her. However, Yi Fan's plan was to improve his combat strength so that Li Yu Huan wouldn't underestimate him. Otherwise, this disciple with low loyalty might rebel at any time. Yi Fan also needed to pay attention to his own safety. After exploring the 2nd ring of black mist outside the Immortal Gate, Yi Fan said, "Let's end our exploration of the black mist here for today. The three of you should go back and cultivate." Li Yu Huan's formidable fighting prowess today, this also made Nangong Feixu feel terrified. Unexpectedly, Li Yu Huan, who entered the sect on the same day as her, possessed such terrifying strength. No, she can't let her master down. Nangong Feixu's destiny, the red dust sword box, the sword god. She naturally possessed exceptional swordsmanship talent. He already possessed excellent swordsmanship. However, the swordsmanship of mortals and the swordsmanship of cultivators are completely different concepts. After Nangong Feixu witnessed Li Yu Huan's swordsmanship, a flood of swordplay ideas surged through her mind. She now needed time to gain insight into her own swordplay. At the same time, she felt something unusual happening in her Danshan area. There was a red sword inside, moving within her Danshan. This red sword seemed to connect with her soul. Whenever Nangong Feixu is in danger, this red sword can emerge from her Danshan to help her attack enemies. The red dust sword box within Nangong Feixu's body is awakening, and her sword spirit root combat talent is also awakening. Yi Fan was unaware of these things. After the 3 apprentices returned to their disciples' room, Yi Fan then began collecting spirit wood. These spirit trees are important materials for building disciples' rooms, improving the climate and environment within the sect, and increasing the spiritual energy within the sect. Yi Fan didn't have a logging axe or a saw or any other suitable tools. He couldn't waste the precious cultivation time of his 3 true disciples by asking them to cut down the spirit tree. Naturally, Yi Fan himself had to take action. Yi Fan drew his sword. Following Li Yu Huan's example, he infused his spiritual energy into the low-grade magic weapon, the iron-slaying sword. The sword emitted a white light as it slashed towards the spirit tree in front of it. Yi Fan drew a fan-shaped line with his iron-slaying sword, however, to Yi Fan's surprise. Unlike Li Yu Huan, who unleashed an incomparably sharp sword beam forward. Rather, it's like the light from a light bulb. His spiritual energy attacks, spreading in all directions, were completely unable to hit or cause any damage. The sword energy unleashed by Yi Fan caused the distant spirit tree to sway slightly, as if blown by a gale with 2 leaves falling from its trunk. It failed. Yi Fan was not discouraged. This was within his expectations. A person who has never used a weapon before, let alone a cultivator, would be helpless in battle. Even a simple draw slash requires a long period of practice. Moreover, it is a sword aura attack that is hundreds or thousands of times more powerful than a simple sword drawing technique. Even if Yi Fan considers himself a genius, it hasn't reached the point where you can use it after just one look. Yi Fan was not discouraged. He swung his longsword again and again. He unleashed a sword strike towards the spirit tree in front of him. This time, Yi Fan increased the concentration of spiritual energy emitted from the iron-slaying sword. However, it is still a huge curved surface and does not have much offensive power. Yi Fan was not discouraged. Once, twice. A few hours later, Yi Fan has failed tens of thousands of times. The spiritual energy within his body was almost completely depleted. This time, he finally succeeded. A sword aura shaped like a crescent moon condensed in the air and flew rapidly toward the spirit tree trunk in front, a spirit tree on the outermost edge of a small spirit tree forest. He was cut in half at the waist by Yi Fan. The spirit tree trunk vanished instantly after hitting the ground. A 9th grade spirit board has appeared in Yi Fan's system space. Yi Fan clicked to view, a 9th grade spirit wood plank. A spirit board with a little spiritual energy. 40 spirit boards can build a disciple's hut. Yi Fan's spiritual energy was almost completely depleted at this moment. He has no way of cutting down the remaining 39 spirit trees. I never imagined that the spirit wood would be so sturdy. Even with tools, an ordinary martial arts disciple could probably only collect 2 spirit woods in a day at most. Yi Fan decided to rest for a while and recover some of the spiritual energy he had consumed. I glanced at the system repository. There was another treasure chest in front of the spirit wood I had just obtained. I had completely forgotten. He hasn't opened today's newbie reward chest yet. Yi Fan opened the treasure chest. 10 treasure chest options appeared. Yi Fan spotted it immediately, the treasure chest filled with sparkling diamonds. This was the first time Yi Fan had ever seen a diamond treasure chest. The glittering treasure chest, inlaid with various diamonds, immediately attracted Yi Fan's full attention. As for the other low-grade treasure chests, Yi Fan was too lazy to even look at them. I chose this diamond treasure chest, Thunderous Wood Cauldron. High-grade heavenly rank, increases the success rate of refining pills by 80%, the chance of refining top-grade pills by 30%, and has a 1% chance of critically obtaining an even higher-grade pill. This is good stuff. Now I have my own medicinal herb garden. However, without the recipe for refining pills, even if Yi Fan had the Thunder Profound Wood Cauldron, he would have no way to refine pills. Yi Fan immediately thought of the trading hall. I wonder if anyone will offer up the recipe for the elixir. This is only the second day since the Immortal World opened. Almost all the players were lacking in elixirs, and Yi Fan didn't have any extra elixirs for his disciples to cultivate with. Collecting the pills obtained from the system's treasure chests is extremely difficult. However, the specific formula for the pill is not necessarily the same. A relatively large medicinal herb garden only appears in the second layer of fog. Moreover, refining elixirs requires magical artifacts such as cauldrons or alchemy furnaces. Unless an ordinary person is extremely lucky and has an outstanding disciple who can help them open the second layer of mist, they will receive 2 days' worth of treasure chest rewards, which may contain alchemy artifacts and pill recipes. Otherwise, even with the recipe, it's impossible to refine the elixir. Someone will likely sell the formula in exchange for resources for near-term development. Thinking about this, Yi Fan opened the trading hall. A large number of products have already appeared above. The items in the front row are very strange. It was just a withered blade of grass, yet it was exchanged for all sorts of resources. Are these people desperate for money? They're trying to trade withered, lifeless grass for resources, to Yi Fan's surprise. These transactions were completed remarkably quickly. Large quantities of withered grass were exchanged for various useful resources for cultivating immortality. Yi Fan quickly figured out the reason. It's not that the people who bought the dried hay were stupid. Instead, this group of people is entrusting a large amount of resources to one person. The goal is to cultivate a strong individual in a short period of time, then lead everyone to develop even faster. For example, a small team of a dozen people can allocate all resources to the person in the team who has an outstanding disciple. Let this person develop quickly, collect enough resources from the Black Mist, and then deny them to other teammates. Doing so will undoubtedly rapidly enhance the capabilities of all members of this team. However, this also comes with risks. For example, the person who acquires resources can abandon others at any time and develop on their own without caring about the fate of others. Although the risks are high, the potential rewards are equally high. For example, those who gather a lot of resources also have enough strength, like Yi Fan, to directly open the second layer of mist. If resources can be collected in advance, the disciples' rooms can be expanded first. Having more disciple rooms increases the chances of acquiring outstanding disciples. This is a virtuous cycle. Furthermore, they can gather more information about this immortal world. Yi Fan even considered building his own small team. Unfortunately, he didn't have any really close brothers when he was on Earth. As an orphan without any extended family or relatives, there's no hope of relying on a family for support. At the same time, he works as a writer. To protect their pen names and personal information, writers often create chat groups where, although many people address each other as brothers, very few are truly close friends. To form a small faction, the most important thing is to have a few loyal core members. Yi Fan does not currently meet this requirement. Yi Fan looked at the trading hall. Today, I sold my disciple information, but not a single person bought it. This surprised Yi Fan greatly. I originally thought that after yesterday's experience, everyone would know how difficult it is to obtain an outstanding disciple, and that these resources would be very easy to sell today. Surprisingly, it's been listed in the trading hall for almost an hour today, and still no one has bought it. At this time, Yi Fan received a private message. It was a message sent by Li Lily, whom I had just added as a friend last night. Brother Yi Fan, are you interested in this book? Yi Fan clicked on the book's information. Complete collection of elixir formulas. After learning, you can master the formulas for nourishing spirit pill, fostering spirit pill, and transforming spirit pill. This is great stuff. It's exactly the formula I need. With this pill recipe, I can manufacture all the pills I need in the early stages of the Immortal Sect game. I saw this book, a complete collection of prescriptions. Yi Fan was very tempted. This was exactly the kind of resource he needed most right now. Yi Fan immediately replied, I need this complete book of pill formulas. What do you want? Li Lily said, I want 2 disciples who are even stronger than the elite disciples. I wonder if you can find any. She was afraid Yi Fan would accuse her of asking for an exorbitant amount. Li Lily continued, do you know why today no one is willing to buy your outstanding disciple? Yi Fan was also very curious as to why the information on outstanding disciples, which could be sold yesterday, was no longer available for purchase today. Through conversation with Li Lily, Yi Fan learned the reason. Through communication among players, they invented a disciple-killing strategy. It involves using the newbie rewards you received, plus your chi refining stage 1 cultivation level. Even if the disciple is a peak martial artist, he is no match for them. Other players recruit disciples into their sects. Although he couldn't see the detailed information about a disciple's spiritual root like Yi Fan did. However, you can see whether a disciple is an ordinary disciple, an outstanding disciple, or an elite disciple. Disciples of outstanding quality or even higher quality are extremely rare. Their chances of finding good disciples are not very high, but by relentlessly killing ordinary disciples and searching diligently, they will surely find good ones. Naturally, no one would be willing to exchange a magic item awarded as a beginner's reward for information about an outstanding disciple that Yi Fan had a high chance of obtaining. Upon hearing this, Yi Fan was also taken aback for a moment. Unexpectedly, in just one day, most people underwent such a change. It's important to understand that most people just a day before wouldn't even dare to kill a chicken or duck with their own hands. The next day, they actually use such cruel methods to find outstanding disciples. Indeed, when faced with survival, morality ceases to exist. Yi Fan said, okay, I can agree to this deal, but you'll need to wait at least 3 hours. By the way, it's already the 2nd day and you've only taken on 1 disciple. Li Lily, yesterday we recruited dozens of disciples and today we recruited hundreds, but we haven't found a single good one. Upon hearing this, Yi Fan understood. Li Lily had video chatted with him. He had a gentle, cute, and sweet baby face like milk tea, so she never expected him to have such a fierce side. Yi Fan naturally knew what had become of those hundreds of disciples. After ending the call with Li Lily, Yi Fan's physical strength has also recovered considerably. Now with each strike of his sword, he can cut down a spirit tree. After working continuously for 2 hours, Yi Fan finished felling the entire forest of spirit trees. All that remained were bare tree roots, and Yi Fan's warehouse now contained an additional 1,000 grade 9 spirit wood planks. Return to your own sect. Yi Fan selected the build button, consuming 800 pieces of 9th grade spirit wood. 20 disciple huts appeared in his immortal sect. 20 small huts were built directly for the disciples. The reason why not many buildings were constructed is because when I went to the ascension platform before, I only saw about 10 red disciples, since Yi Fan could see the hidden attributes. In the early stages of the Immortal Sect's development, he did not intend to recruit disciples of red quality or lower. Disciples of low rank are simply wasting their cultivation resources. As someone who can see hidden attributes, they naturally wouldn't treat all the blue quality disciples as treasures. Yi Fan entered the ascension platform. Now that he has reached the 4th level of chi refining, his spiritual sense is much stronger than before. Soon, among the many exclamation marks, 8 red exclamation marks were found. There are only 8 disciples with red quality left. On the first day, there were still more than a dozen people. Obviously, quite a few were lucky enough to be chosen as red disciples. Looks like I need to get started quickly. Without checking the attributes of these disciples, he took the remaining 8 into his own sect. There were 2 men and 6 women, with the proportion of women being much higher. Yi Fan briefly scanned the ascension platform with his divine sense and found that the number of people on the platform was significantly less than on the first day. There are now fewer than 5 million people left. Moreover, many of the men who looked very strong were basically all selected. Only a large number of women and weak men remained. After thinking it over carefully, Yi Fan understood why he made that choice. Those physically strong men, even without the talent for cultivation, can still explore the black mist. Many of these strong men are martial artists. Even if they cannot cultivate immortality, they can still fight against the ferocious beasts guarding resource points in the black mist. Clearly, many players in the Immortal Sect treat these people as resources. It seems that, apart from those who are unaware of the dangers of the immortal world, there are also those who are still showing off their handsome male and beautiful female disciples in the chat rooms. Most people aren't fools, they've chosen a very brutal way to survive. After Yi Fan had recruited all the red disciples on the Ascension platform, after teaching them basic cultivation techniques and distributing 3 yellow berries to each of them, he then told the disciples to go to their rooms to cultivate. At the same time, Yi Fan also found the coordinates of the 2 blue disciples, 4 hours later. Only then did he make a deal with Li Lily, exchanging her for the complete collection of elixirs. The purpose of this was to tell Li Lily that finding elite disciples was not an easy task for him. In reality, it would only take Yi Fan a few seconds to find the 2 elite disciples in blue. It possesses a complete collection of prescriptions. Nature delivers it to the most useful people. Nangong Qiushui possesses a wood elemental root and is talented in alchemy and planting. No one is more suited to refining elixirs than her. Return to your own sect hall. Yi Fan used his divine sense to transmit his voice. Nangong Qiushui, come here. The Nangong sisters were very obedient. They were not rebellious disciples like Li Yu Huan. Upon hearing Yi Fan's summons, Nangong Qiushui immediately went to the sect leader's hall. As soon as Nangong Qiushui entered the room, she knelt down on the ground. He said, "Disciple greets master. Yi Fan, your talent isn't suited for combat, you're better suited for alchemy. I've just acquired some pill formulas and a cauldron for refining pills, so I'll pass these on to you today." After saying that, Yi Fan clicked on the complete collection of pill recipes. In just a short while, 3 more methods for refining pills appeared in Nangong Qiushui's mind. This was the 3rd time Yi Fan had imparted knowledge to her. The transmission of such miraculous techniques always amazed Nangong Qiushui. She is currently at the 3rd level of the qi refining stage. However, it's impossible to directly transmit knowledge into someone else's consciousness. She always thought it was Yi Fan's ability, unaware that it was a unique feature of the Immortal Sect game system. Yi Fan took out the Thunder Profound Wood Cauldron from the system's inventory. After placing it in a corner of the main hall, he said to Nangong Qiushui, "From now on, you will refine pills here. The rooms for disciples in the Immortal Sects are now the most basic kind of rooms. There's simply not enough room for the enormous Thunder Profound Wood Cauldron. Currently, in Yi Fan's Immortal Sect, only the Sect Leader's Hall has a large enough space to refine pills. You can take care of that small herb garden outside the Immortal Gate as well." After saying that, Yi Fan returned to his small room. Yi Fan's main hall is a room with 2 entrances and 2 exits. The front courtyard is the main hall, where he usually receives his disciples, while the back courtyard is his residence, which no disciples are currently allowed to enter. Learning alchemy is incredibly difficult, even with a formula and a furnace without a master's guidance. For example, when cooking, even a slight difference in heat control can drastically alter the taste of the dish. The control of the heat in alchemy is even more stringent. The slightest mistake can turn the elixir into a waste or even poison. Yi Fan didn't expect Nangong Qiushui to master it in a day. Within 3 days, she could refine the simplest spirit-nourishing pill, which would solve the problem of pill shortage. The pills we have for the next 2 days aren't enough, but we still have a small field of yellow berries, which should be enough to keep up with the cultivation speed of the 3 true disciples. As for those 8 disciples with red quality cultivation, they are not yet qualified to use pills for cultivation at this stage. If players from other Xiamen games knew about this, they would definitely be insanely jealous. The other disciples, regardless of which lucky individual they were chosen from, were nurtured with all available resources. However, in Yi Fan's Immortal Sect, they are currently not qualified to obtain any resources, not even spirit-nourishing pills, and only receive 3 yellow berries each day. Yi Fan was pondering how to obtain a large quantity of pills so that his disciples could have access to them freely. A strong medicinal aroma suddenly filled my nostrils. Yi Fan used his divine sense to immediately scan the source of the medicinal fragrance. It was the aura emanating from the thunder-profound wood cauldron in the sect leader's hall. Just by smelling the aroma of freshly made pills, Yi Fan knew that Nangong Qiushui had succeeded. We quickly arrived at the front hall. Yi Fan saw Nangong Qiushui carefully taking out one spirit-nourishing pill after another from the thunder-profound wood cauldron. Yi Fan checked the condition of the pills. He thought to himself, "Wow, my disciple is really something." Yi Fan could sense that the effects of these spirit-nourishing pills far surpassed those of the grade 9 spirit-nourishing pills provided by the system. Upon actually checking the situation, I found it to be even more exaggerated. Every single pill produced is at least a grade 3 nourishing spirit pill. Occasionally, even second grade and first grade spirit nourishing pills are produced. The most outrageous thing is that this was Nangong Qiushui's first time refining pills. The first batch of pills was a complete success. He possessed over 100 grade 3 spirit nourishing pills, 20 grade 2 spirit nourishing pills, and 8 grade 1 spirit nourishing pills. With an innate physique and a natural affinity for plants, combined with a top-grade heavenly rank thunder profound wood cauldron, the lowest level of spirit-nourishing pill can be refined to an astonishing degree. Yi Fan said, "Qiushui did a good job. Refine 2 more spirit-nourishing pills, and then you can try the more advanced spirit fertility pill. Don't worry about wasting materials." Seeing so many spirit-nourishing pills, Yi Fan immediately came up with a way to make a fortune. First, he took out 24 spirit-nourishing pills, all of them second-grade and first-grade pills, and gave them directly to the 8 poor inner disciples. They no longer need to rely on yellow berries for cultivation. Every inner disciple shed tears of emotion. Then, Yi Fan then placed over 100 grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills in the trading hall. The spirit-nourishing pill is the lowest-grade elixir, requiring only 3 low-grade herbs from the herb garden to refine. Yi Fan's asking price, however, was astronomically high. 60 low-grade herbs and 30 mid-grade herbs that can be used to refine the spirit-nourishing pill can be exchanged for 1 grade 3 spirit-nourishing pill. One pill cost more than 30 times the original price. However, Yi Fan was not worried about a lack of buyers. Among the billions of players in the Immortal Sect game, only Yi Fan possesses the ability to refine pills by the second day. What business is the most profitable? A monopoly is the most profitable. He's not worried that no players will be able to afford it. This is different from the magic items and cultivation techniques that can only be obtained from the newbie gift pack. Once players unlock the second layer of Black Mist, they will inevitably possess a large herb garden, containing enough herbs to purchase a dozen or so grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills, even without opening the second layer of Black Mist. Those who banded together could gather enough resources to buy a grade 3 spirit-nourishing pill from the tiny herb garden near the Immortal Sect, a garden of only a few square meters. Weren't there a dozen, dozens, or even hundreds of you all united together? Perfect timing. My grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills are just enough to drain their medicinal herb garden dry. Turn all your supplies into mine. With a large quantity of spiritual herbs and medicines, Nangong Qiushui's alchemy skills will definitely improve. In this way, his outer disciples would take first and second grade spirit-nourishing pills, while his 3 inner disciples would take higher grade spirit fertility pills. The disciples' cultivation speed will definitely become faster. With a sufficient supply of pills, Yi Fan even felt that the 7-day safe period would end soon. Perhaps his own disciple could even reach the foundation establishment stage. More than 100 grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills were distributed to the trading hall. Yi Fan also made sure to promote the service in the chat room. A large quantity of grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills are available for sale in the trading hall. Pre-order now, quantities are limited. A large quantity of grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills are available for sale in the trading hall. Pre-order now, quantities are limited. A large quantity of grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills are available for sale in the trading hall. Pre-order now, quantities are limited. After speaking 3 times in a row, Yi Fan's chat room speaking privileges were once again blocked by the system for half an hour. However, Yi Fan didn't care anymore. Those who can afford it are at least a group of a dozen or so players working together. Among them, there must be some who are specifically keeping an eye on the chat room and the trading room. Yi Fan wasn't afraid of his good wine being sold in a hidden alley. Those players with resources were unaware that he was selling grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills. I just put all the pills in the trading hall. Yi Fan immediately received a private message. Wang Zuoli, judging from the pictures, is the kind of internet celebrity with a pointed chin that Yi Fan dislikes the most. I'm a super influencer with 1 million followers. I'll sell all your pills, we'll split it 70-30, I get 70% and you get 30%. Upon seeing this sentence, Yi Fan almost died laughing. She also wanted to take 30% of the 70%. Doesn't this woman have a brain? Yi Fan couldn't be bothered with this woman whose head was full of water. Unexpectedly, I received another message from the same female internet celebrity a minute later. I'm a super influencer with millions of followers. If you don't agree to let me sell your products, I'll have my fans smear you and make sure you don't sell a single one of your pills. This woman is really annoying. Yi Fan immediately added her to his blacklist. 2 minutes later. In the chat room, a large number of people began to speak. Don't buy the grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills in the trading hall, they're fake, and their effects aren't even as good as the grade 9 spirit-nourishing pills given by the system. Please everyone, do not buy the grade 3 spirit-nourishing pill at an exorbitant price. Just look at the name. Its effect is only 1/3 that of the grade 9 spirit-nourishing pill, yet it's sold at an astronomical price. Let's all boycott Yi Fan who sells fake pills, he's a counterfeit drug dealer. Hearing these negative comments about myself, Yi Fan was amused again. I almost choked from laughing so hard I was clutching my stomach. The reason is quite simple. These people didn't even know who a 9th rank official was, let alone a 1st rank prime minister. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd rank officials were high-ranking officials, and they generally worked in the Imperial City. 4th, 5th, and 6th rank officials were all high-ranking local officials. A low-ranking official could only be a county magistrate in a remote and impoverished county. These people don't even understand basic common sense, yet they want to smear themselves. It's hilarious. What's more, they're spamming the chat room so quickly. Isn't this advertising for him? This way, even families that don't pay attention to the chat room have a great chance of knowing that he's selling large quantities of grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills in the trading hall. Sure enough, Yi Fan soon discovered that his system warehouse contained many spiritual herbs and medicines, all of which were excellent materials for refining pills. The female internet celebrity named Wang Zuoli and her fans have been very effective in promoting Yi Fan. Yi Fan smelled the medicinal fragrance emanating from the hall once again. Wow, the spirit-nourishing pill is being refined so quickly. In less than 10 minutes, it was out of the oven again. Yi Fan returned to the sect leaders' hall. This batch of nourishing spirit pills is of even higher quality. There are more than 20 grade 1 spirit-nourishing pills, more than 50 grade 2 spirit-nourishing pills, and more than 60 grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills. Nangong Qiushui is truly a person destined for greatness. It's only the 2nd time it's been refined. I'm afraid it won't be long before the spirit-nourishing pills she refines become the best grade 1 spirit-nourishing pills in most cases. Yi Fan was seen entering the hall. Nangong Qiushui hurriedly bowed and said, Master, the medicinal herbs in the spirit field near our immortal sect will only last for about 10 more batches of pills. Yi Fan said, Don't worry, just focus on refining pills. You have plenty of medicinal herbs. Try to refine high-grade spirit-nourishing pills that can enhance the strength of all 3 of you. After saying that, Yi Fan took out a large quantity of medicinal herbs from the system's warehouse. In just a short while, I sold 10 grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills and obtained several hundred portions of medicinal materials for refining pills. Looking at the medicinal herbs that filled half the room, Nangong Qiushui was very happy. She could now use these medicinal herbs with confidence to improve her alchemy skills. Yi Fan said, Now you can refine pills. Our Moon Shadow sect will no longer lack pills. You 3 true disciples will have no limit on the number of pills you can take. As long as you can withstand the medicinal effects, consume as many as you can. From now on, the management of our Moonshadow sex elixirs will be entrusted to you, Qiushui. Refine the spirit-nourishing pill as soon as possible, and also give me the grade 3 spirit cultivation pills. I have a use for them. Hearing this, Nangong Qiushui was very happy. She disliked fighting, wasn't as competitive as her sister Nangong Feixu, and wasn't as outspoken as Li Yu Huan. Her favorite things were cultivating medicinal herbs and refining elixirs. Yi Fan's arrangement was exactly what Nangong Qiushui wanted. Nangong Qiushui said, Thank you, Master. I will definitely complete the task of refining the pills. Master, this disciple has one more small request. Yi Fan, you said, Master will grant you whatever he can. Nangong Qiushui glanced at the room full of spiritual herbs and medicines. He said, Master, many of the spiritual herbs and medicines you brought out are not needed right now. I think it would be better to cultivate a medicinal garden and plant them for future use. Yi Fan said, good idea, I approve. Don't do this yourself, it will waste your cultivation and alchemy time. Just tell those 8 inner disciples to do it. Nangong Qiushui, thank you, Master. Qiushui promises to refine even more pills. Nangong Qiushui was very happy. She also had her own selfish motives. There are only 3 true disciples now. Having witnessed Li Yu Huan's formidable fighting prowess, she knew that even if all the Nangong sisters combined, they were no match for Li Yu Huan. The 2 sisters were actually being suppressed by a woman. Her sister is studying powerful sword techniques, but she certainly won't be a match for Li Yu Huan in the short term. She had absolutely no fighting ability. The master recruited 8 more inner disciples, and he managed their pills, which was tantamount to putting these 8 inner disciples on the side of the Nangong sisters. Now the master has ordered the 8 of them to obey him. This increased the leverage the Nangong sisters had in their struggle against Li Yu Huan. The Nangong sisters were beggars before joining the Immortal Sect. However, before their Nangong family was wiped out, the Nangong sisters were undoubtedly young ladies from a prominent family. As a young lady from a prominent family, her greatest skill was controlling her husband and navigating the power struggles within the imperial harem. They were raised in the same way from a young age. Don't underestimate Nangong Qiushui just because she's only 14 years old. Their lower realm is similar to the ancient Blue Star Dragon Kingdom. Girls typically get married between the ages of 12 and 15. Although Nangong Qiushui doesn't yet possess the same level of power as Zhen Huan, she can be considered a skilled palace intrigue player within the Moon Shadow Sect. With just a few simple words, he had already seized a great deal of power within the Moon Shadow Sect. Yi Fan is not good at managing people. If he had the ability to manage, he would have already recruited a large number of players to form his affiliated Immortal Sect. He was very happy to have the 8 inner disciples placed under Nangong Qiushui's management. You can be a hands-off manager, saving yourself time and effort. As for the power struggles within the Immortal Sects, Yi Fan didn't care at all. The most important things in cultivating immortality are one's own strength and powerful magical artifacts. No matter how many inner and outer disciples there are, they are not as good as a single true disciple with a high level of cultivation. Yi Fan took dozens of grade 3 spirit nourishing pills and hung them up again in the trading hall. Lockheed Martin. He is the next generation of key figures being groomed to lead the Locke family, one of the most prestigious families in the land. Back on Earth, he had already begun taking over the rights of his father, Rockwick. Earth has many wealthy billionaires like the 2 horses, referring to Jack Ma and Pony Ma and the real-life Iron Man. In fact, the wealth of these billionaires is less than 1/10,000th of that of the Locke family. 200 years ago, the Locke family made their fortune in oil and later expanded into various industries such as banking, military industry, infrastructure, and finance. Whether it's the company owned by the 2 Ma's or the company owned by the real-life Iron Man, the major shareholders are actually cross-shareholdings of the Rock family. Lockheed Martin is the future head of one of the 3 major golden families. After entering the game, it quickly developed. They were the Locke family and dozens of affiliated families, plus thousands of servants and subordinates. They formed a massive alliance. Because his father was too old to enter the immortal world, Locke Martin became the head of the new Locke family. When they discovered that grade 3 spirit nourishing pills were for sale in the trading hall, Lockheed Martin, with its deep pockets, bought one, give it to his highest-ranking red-quality disciple. With his wealth, he could even buy all of Yi Fan's pills, but Lockheed Martin did not do that. Instead, they turned on group video chat. Together with several mathematicians from the Locke family, they observed the disciple's condition after taking the elixir. Half an hour later, that red-clad disciple had previously consumed a large number of grade 9 spirit nourishing pills, plus this grade 3 spirit nourishing pill today. He finally broke through to the first level of the Qi refining stage. This makes them the second immortal sect after Yi Fan to allow their disciple to break through to the Qi refining stage. Seeing this effect, several mathematicians began to calculate. Ultimately, using a large number of complex data formulas, several mathematicians reached a consensus. In the first 5 days of the game, buying Yi Fan's grade 3 spirit nourishing pill at the current price would be a good deal for the Locke family. You break even on the 6th and 7th days, but if you buy at this price after 7 days, you will incur a loss. With the precise numerical calculations of mathematicians, to obtain the theoretically most correct result, Lockheed Martin no longer hesitated. They went straight to the trading hall and swept away all the grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills that Yi Fan had displayed there. They also arranged for several members of the Locke family to keep an eye on the trading hall at all times. As long as Yi Fan continues to sell grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills at this price, the Locke family will buy them all. It was used to quickly enhance their family's power. After Locke Martin arrived in the world of the immortals, his once calm heart was stirred once more. As a supreme family that has controlled the planet Earth for over 100 years, wealth and power are no longer their goals. The money is printed by their golden family. The nominal number one person is also controlled by their family. The wealth and power that others care about are just toys in their hands. They have already reached the point where they can set the rules for the entire planet and decide the fate of many small countries. But Locke Martin looked at his aging father. He felt that the pursuit of the Locke family was to have control over life and death. Back on Earth, their family invested hundreds of billions every year in developing various anti-aging drugs, which at most allowed them to live a few decades longer than the average person. And in this world of immortals, not to mention living for 200 years, even living for 20,000 years, or even immortality is not a problem. This fueled Lockheed Martin's desire to become the strongest being in the immortal world without exception. He gradually became a member of the new Locke family. It's not something that a lucky alliance like Wang Xiaomeng's can compare to. It is not a large power that a small nation or ethnic group like the Emir Khan could build. The new Locke family, not only the Locke family members but also members who have received the most elite education on Earth. There are also top experts from all walks of life. For example, a team composed of outstanding physicists, weapons scientists, aerodynamicists, mathematicians, financiers, actuaries, and other elites. For example, they can use sophisticated algorithms to ensure that all members of the family develop quickly and efficiently. For example, they can analyze various items to determine which goods in the trading hall are worth buying. For example, how to rapidly develop the sect and how to recruit more and better disciples. The new Locke family is far more powerful than other small groups or teams. On the Ascension platform, the male martial arts disciples were swiftly wiped out, a result of the analysis conducted by the new Locke family, although they did not find a way to know the spiritual roots of the disciples on the Ascension platform. However, through extensive calculations, they discovered that the disciples recruited on the Ascension platform were the most powerful martial artists. These martial arts disciples, even if they lack the potential for cultivation. It can also help the new Locke family explore the mist and collect a large amount of resources. By trading these resources back and forth through the trading hall, they amassed a great deal of wealth. Lockmart's current ambition is to establish a vast fairy kingdom and rule the world. He has both the ambition and the ability. Yi Fan looked at the large amount of medicinal herbs that had appeared in the system's warehouse. I was also taken aback for a moment. I didn't expect that more than 100 grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills would be sold so quickly. There were tens of thousands more portions of medicinal herbs. Now I have finally achieved freedom in obtaining elixirs. At Nangong Qiushui's speed, she could refine tens of thousands of grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills a day. However, Yi Fan did not intend to do that. The reason is quite simple. Massive dumping will inevitably lead to a sharp drop in prices. What he's trying to do isn't low profit margins and high sales volume. Instead, it's dozens of times the profit. Yi Fan doesn't have any actuaries under his command. He simply estimated that distributing 1,000 doses of grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills per day would be optimal. Although billions of players have entered the world of immortals on Earth, even if it's only tens of thousands of copies a day, they'll probably be snapped up. But look at those internet celebrities and their fans. Yi Fan believed that those who could afford a grade 3 spirit-nourishing pill were 1 in 10,000. This incredibly dangerous game is destined to end after the 7-day safety period. At least 80% of people will disappear from this world. Soon, Nangong Qiushui completed the third batch of pills. This time she refined a higher grade spirit-nourishing pill. Although it was successful, the grade was much lower. Fewer than 50 pills were produced in total. 15 grade 9 spirit pregnancy pills, 11 grade 8 spirit pregnancy pills, 5 grade 7 spirit pregnancy pills, and 3 grade 6 spirit pregnancy pills. Surprisingly, there were no grade 5 spirit-nourishing pills, but there were 12 grade 4 spirit-nourishing pills and 1 grade 1 spirit-nourishing pill. This result is clearly due to the properties of the Thunder Profound Wood Cauldron. As a top-grade Heavenly Realm magic weapon, it increases the chance of producing a top-grade pill by 30%, and has a 1% chance of a critical hit that produces an even higher grade pill. The 12 top-grade pills triggered the 30% boost characteristic of top-grade pills, and the 1 first-grade spirit-nourishing pill triggered a critical hit. Nangong Kyushui blushed deeply and said with annoyance, "This disciple's skills are lacking. The success rate of the spirit-nourishing pill is too low." Yifan said, "No rush, take your time. Right now, the last thing we lack are spiritual herbs and medicines. Besides refining 1,000 grade 3 nourishing spirit pills every day, use the rest of the herbs to practice the spirit formation pill. Also, don't forget about the spirit transformation pill. Try to refine even better spirit transformation pills as soon as possible." Nangong Kyushui, "Master, this disciple understands." Yifan left behind a large quantity of medicinal herbs and returned to his room. He was very satisfied with Nangong Kyushui's progress. It is believed that before long, with the support of a large number of spiritual herbs, Nangong Kyushui will be able to master the manufacture of higher quality spirit transformation pills. At that time, the strength of his 3 true disciples could be improved even more rapidly. I returned to my room. Yifan used his divine sense to observe the situation of the immortal sects. As can be seen, while Nangong Kyushui was refining pills, she also used her divine sense to direct 8 inner disciples to cultivate and plant spiritual fields. The 8 inner disciples were all very talented and were already powerful martial artists before entering the Moon Shadow sect. Despite lacking proper farming tools, they managed to cultivate dozens of acres of spiritual fields in a short period of time using only sticks and stones, planting a large quantity of spiritual herbs and medicinal plants. They are now each carrying 4 buckets, shuttling between the immortal gates well and the spirit fields. Give each herb and medicinal plant enough water. These inner disciples, though being bossed around by Nangong Kyushui, were all happy. They worked very diligently and everyone's face was full of smiles. The reason is simple. Nangong Kyushui gave them very generous rewards. Everyone received a large number of grade 1 and 2 spirit-nourishing pills. These simple tasks yielded a wealth of resources for cultivating immortality. They have no reason to be unhappy. Seeing that Nangong Kyushui directing the inner disciples and refining pills did not conflict with each other, both things were done very well. Yifan was very satisfied. He was initially worried that expanding the medicinal herb garden would affect Nangong Kyushui's alchemy and cultivation. Now it seems I was overthinking things. Dividing one's attention into multiple tasks and manipulating one's consciousness are basic techniques for immortals. While his master hadn't even mastered it skillfully, Nangong Kyushui was already using it with ease. But that's not surprising. Although Yifan and Nangong Kyushui were both mortals 2 days ago, however, Yifan lived in the Dharma-ending age, on a planet where spiritual energy was depleted, and he never even considered how immortals lived. Nangong Kyushui lives in a cultivation civilization, although it is in the lower realm. As someone from a prominent family, Nangong Kyushui had heard of the methods of immortals. It's not surprising that Nangong Kyushui adapted to life in the Immortal Sect better than Yifan. A few hours later, Yifan sold 1,000 portions of grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills. So I stopped browsing the trading hall. The Moonshadow sect now has so many low-grade spiritual herbs and medicines that they can't possibly use them all. They also lack the ability to obtain higher-quality materials. It's only the 2nd day in the immortal world. Very few people are able to break through the 2nd layer of fog. Aside from a few extremely lucky players who managed to acquire powerful disciples and obtain valuable items from both treasure chests within 2 days, there were only a handful of such individuals. The others are mostly leaders of major powers, which allows them to use vast amounts of resources to explore the 2nd layer of black mist. Therefore, the medicinal herbs that can be obtained in exchange will not be of very high quality. However, Yifan underestimated the financial resources of those powerful forces. He is currently the only one with the ability to refine grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills. Even if only 10,000 are sold every day, the sheer number of players in the Immortal Sect, reaching billions, is acceptable. Yifan had no idea how wealthy those powerful families were, or how many resources they had amassed in just 2 days. If he had known, he would have definitely plundered all the wealth of these large families. Yifan's 3 true disciples. Both Li Yu Huan and Nangong Kyushui were very satisfied. Li Yu Huan never expected that Yifan, from such a down-on-his-luck little immortal sect, would possess so many spirit-nourishing pills. This is a real treasure. Most immortal sects wouldn't give precious spirit-nourishing pills to their chi-refining stage disciples. This kind of pill is generally only available to cultivators at the mid-stage of the Foundation establishment realm. Now that the Moon Shadow Sect has the 4 beast mountain-suppressing stones, its spiritual energy is already quite abundant, in addition to a large number of spirit-nourishing pills that provide ample supply. Li Yu Huan has made her decision. She will stay in Yi Fan's Immortal Sect until she reaches the Golden Core stage. It seems that Yi Fan was right when he said he was also a reincarnation of an immortal emperor. How could a mere qi refining stage cultivator possess so many treasure-level magical artifacts and so many medicinal herbs? Let alone qi refining stage cultivators, even many nascent soul stage cultivators don't have such boldness. Since the Moon Shadow Sect won't interfere with my cultivation, I'll stay here for now. As for Nangong Qiushui, although she was the youngest of the 3 true disciples, she also gained the right to refine pills and control the outer disciples. She was naturally very satisfied. Nangong Feixu is currently troubled by something. After witnessing Li Yu Huan's power, she felt a deep-seated urge to master such a powerful sword technique herself. Creating one's own cultivation technique is incredibly difficult for a cultivator who has just entered the qi refining stage. After racking her brains for over 10 hours, Nangong Feixu realized that she couldn't unleash such a powerful strike as effortlessly as Li Yu Huan. However, when she devoted herself wholeheartedly to kendo, the red sword within her dantian began to slowly establish a telepathic connection with her. As Nangong Feixu's swordsmanship improved, a small red sword flew out from her dantian and began to rotate around Nangong Feixu's body. The red dust sword spirit finally broke free from the red dust sword box's restraints. It became Nangong Feixu's protective sword spirit. At this moment, Nangong Feixu also gained a deeper understanding of the way of the sword. The daytime passed quickly. Night has fallen again. Aside from a few unlucky individuals who obtained the luminous oil lamp pearl, their treasure chests contained only the worst common items. All the players in the Immortal Sect were enveloped in darkness. With nothing else to do, Yi Fan could only open the chat system of the Immortal Sect world. At this moment, in his small group chat with 5 pretty girls, the information was also scrolling rapidly. Wang Xiaomeng so pretty, I love her. Zhang Feng, Sister Yi, I want one too. Wang Yufei, you're so beautiful, you look like a fairy. Li Lily, my heart is fluttering, this is what love feels like. Yi Fan looked at the top, where the messages had been completely overwhelmed by their chat. Liu Yi, do you like my new clothes? Below is a full-body photo of Liu Yi. She wore a white silk dress that looked like something out of an ancient fantasy drama. Combined with Liu Yi's alluring face, she was practically the epitome of a vixen. What a nice view. Clothes make the man and a saddle makes the horse. Liu Yi is a great beauty in her own right. Now with this outfit, she looks even more ethereal, charming, and captivating. Yi Fan felt a flutter in his heart as he looked at the photo. Yi Fan immediately became interested. She asked, Liu Yi, you can sew clothes, could you make me a few? Yi Fan immediately received a private message from Liu Yi. Brother Yi Fan, the newbie treasure chest I received today contains heavenly silk fabric, enough to make 3 outfits. The images were followed by pictures of silk fabric made from celestial silkworms. Yi Fan checked the information about the silk fabric. Fabric made from silkworm silk is a raw material for many self-defense magical artifacts. It's definitely a good product. However, only those with tailoring and magic array talents can create excellent defensive magic items. Such resources do not exist yet. Liu Yi clearly had some background in fashion design. The clothes she made were very beautiful. However, if she wanted to possess the power of a magical artifact, she certainly wouldn't be far behind. Yi Fan's 3 true disciples. Aside from Li Yu Huan's clothes being somewhat acceptable, the Nangong sisters' outfits were simply appalling. Thinking about this, Yi Fan said, I want 3 sets of clothes, name your price. Liu Yi had been waiting for Yi Fan to say those words. She posted selfies in the group chat today in order to sell the remaining 3 pieces of clothing. Yi Fan was undoubtedly the wealthiest member in the group. Liu Yi immediately asked, Brother Yi Fan, can I exchange my 3 pieces of clothing for 10 grade 3 spirit nourishing pills? Yi Fan was selling grade 3 spirit nourishing pills in the trading hall, which Liu Yi discovered during the day. She was very lucky to have a disciple of the blue rank. There are also 2 disciples with very strong martial arts skills. Despite her fox-like appearance, Liu Yi is actually very clever. She felt she simply didn't have the ability to support 3 disciples at the same time. She uses the resources she acquires to focus on nurturing her disciples who have the potential for cultivation. The martial arts disciples were merely tools she used to explore the Black Mist and gather more resources. So at first, he didn't care much about Yi Fan. Although he could find excellent disciples, Liu Yi already has a good one and doesn't need any new disciples in the short term. But today, when I saw Yi Fan actually selling large quantities of grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills in the trading hall, Liu Yi was moved. That's how the chat in the group chat went on tonight. Sure enough, Yi Fan took the bait and wanted to buy the clothes she made. He immediately asked for 10 grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills. This price is outrageous, especially after the 10 grade 9 spirit-nourishing pills provided by the system are consumed. Liu Yi was constantly worried about how to obtain more pills for her disciples. Her plan was to ask for a higher price and wait for Yi Fan to counteroffer. In business, bargaining is essential to secure the best possible deal and maximize your profits. Yi Fan, okay, I can agree, but on one condition. Liu Yi heard that there was one more request. He immediately asked, "What are your requirements? Tell me first." Yi Fan, besides the 3 silk dresses, I also want a set of your photos. Upon hearing this request, Liu Yi immediately breathed a sigh of relief. He said, "I thought you were a gentleman yesterday. Why are you acting so lecherous today?" Yi Fan, I'm sorry to disappoint you. Liu Yi, no, I've always been very confident in my figure and appearance. If you want to pursue a career in entertainment, isn't it because you want to be loved by more men? What I'm curious about is, why did you change so quickly today? Yi Fan, only when people are well-fed can they think about naughty things. Yesterday and today, I was worried about the cultivation resources for my disciples. Now that I have enough pills, magic weapons, and cultivation techniques, I don't need to worry about survival anymore. Only then can I have the opportunity to enjoy myself. Liu Yi, smart man, let's make a deal. The photos will take half an hour. Girls need time to take beautiful photos. Yi Fan, don't rush, I'll wait for you. Although grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills are extremely scarce in the immortal world, Yi Fan sold them for several hundred times the profit. However, as the lowest grade of elixir, it is not actually a scarce resource. If Nangong Qiushui were to refine them with all her might, she could produce tens of thousands of them in a single day. These 5 women with their extensive social circles were Yi Fan's primary source of information. Yi Fan spent a day thinking about it. I've decided to give them some benefits so that I can keep all 5 of them firmly on my side. There are no permanent friends, only permanent interests. Yi Fan is not good at winning people's hearts, but now he has magical treasures, martial arts skills, and countless elixirs. Yi Fan didn't care about leaking a little benefit from under his fingernails to get 5 women on his side. Of course, when giving them benefits, Yi Fan would naturally charge some interest. The 5 women are all elites from the Art Academy, and after graduation they will enter the entertainment industry and may even become future superstars. In his previous life on Earth, these 5 beauties were unattainable for Yi Fan. But in this world of immortals, one can have as many stunning beauties like these as one desires. What Yi Fan valued most was that the 5 of them were lucky and had a good start. Moreover, they are all very intelligent and know how to utilize various resources to ensure their survival. 5 smart, lucky, and exploitable women. Naturally, she's easier to use than those simple-minded women. This isn't some peaceful and tranquil Earth. Naive and innocent women like that can only survive until their safe period ends. Half an hour later, Yi Fan received a private message from Liu Yi. She really is an art school graduate. This camera work is amazing. Every photo highlights Liu Yi's charm. What's most outstanding about her isn't just her alluring eyes. And her waist, a real A4 waist. Many people don't understand what A4 waist means. It's actually very simple. It's a thin, willow leaf-shaped shape, just like an A4 sheet of paper. There are 10 photos in total, each with a different pose, but every single one highlights Liu Yi's charm. Liu Yi, is the old man satisfied? Yi Fan, her captivating smile was like a flower in full bloom, her elegant demeanor unrestrained, her bright eyes sparkling with beauty. Liu Yi, this servant thanks you for the compliment, sir. Liu Yi was very happy at this moment. She also knew that Yi Fan's grade 3 spirit-nourishing pill was being snapped up by many people in the trading hall. A large quantity of spiritual herbs and medicines are needed to exchange for a single grade 3 spirit-nourishing pill. She had hoped that exchanging her 3 pieces of silkworm silk for 2 or 3 grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills would be a very good deal. Although Liu Yi had already explored the first circle of black mist and possessed yellow berries, the effects of just 3 yellow berries are only comparable to 1 grade 9 spirit-nourishing pill. This is far too poor. The longer her disciple is delayed in breaking through to the qi refining stage, the greater her loss will be. Although there are many yellow berries, it should be enough for the disciple to reach the qi refining stage within 7 days. However, the slower the disciple's strength improves, the slower their exploration of the black mist will be in the early stages, and the more they will fall behind in overall resources. One step fast leads to another fast. One step slow leads to another slow. Liu Yi understood this very well, which is why Yi Fan's grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills, despite their exorbitant price, were still snapped up by everyone. She never expected Yi Fan to be so generous to her. On Earth, a man who is willing to spend money on a girl is a good man. In the world of immortals, a man who is willing to give a girl elixirs is a good man. Especially men like Yi Fan who can produce a large number of pills every day. It's practically like having a money printing factory at home. Therefore, among Liu Yi's 10 photos, there are 2 very social security photos. However, she was very clever, especially when it came to dealing with men. Giving too much at once, completely satisfying a man's desires makes him worthless in anyone's eyes. She handled the photos with great finesse. Yi Fan carefully examined the photos, especially the last 2. That's when I started paying attention to the chat room content. 3 women can have endless topics to talk about, let alone 5 women in a group. The tide in chat rooms turns very quickly. The topic has now shifted several times since it started with clothing. Li Lily, a rich young man, wants me to join their alliance. Zhang Feng is that the rich second-generation kid who changed his nationality to American and thinks he's something special. Li Lily, yes, it's him. His conditions are somewhat appealing. Zhang Feng, I have no interest in Guzi. Besides, in the world of immortal cultivation, what future could a good-for-nothing playboy like him possibly have? Li Lily, I naturally look down on him now, but the power behind him is quite immense. It's the Skull and Bones Society, founded by a group of wealthy foreigners. I heard it already has several thousand members, which should be enough to acquire a lot of useful resources. Wang Xiaomeng, as your good sister, I advise you, those who are not of our kind will surely have different hearts. Be careful, or you'll be reduced to ashes if you join. Li Lily thought for a moment. I'll listen to Sister Xiaomeng and won't join their Skull and Bones Society. A few simple sentences of dialogue. What Yi Fan liked most about Zhang Feng was his personality. As a writer who always wrote positive online novels, Zhang Feng hated nothing more than sheepdogs. Yi Fan was somewhat surprised that Wang Xiaomeng, who appeared to be cute and innocent, was actually the backbone of the group of 5. Li Lily's information also made Yi Fan realize that many Immortal Sect players' groups might be larger than he had imagined. He used to be a person who wasn't good at socializing and didn't have many friends, but others were different. Many people built an incredibly large team in just 2 days. This was what shocked Yi Fan the most. Thousands of players banded together for mutual support, and it's only been 2 days. It's amazing how quickly it's formed. No wonder my grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills are selling so well. Wang Yufei, who hadn't spoken much until now, suddenly opened her mouth to talk. Wang Yufei, I just received an important message. There's a treasure chest deep within the black fog. One sentence immediately drew everyone's attention. In another group chat of Wang Yufei, one player obtained a magical item called the Swift Boots. While it doesn't increase his combat power, it does allow him to run incredibly fast. This player is both highly skilled and daring, venturing alone into the black fog to explore. Treat the game like a horror game such as Resident Evil. Utilize your running speed. He avoided engaging any ferocious beasts along the way and would turn and run away whenever he saw one. When encountering resources that can be gathered, use your speed to bypass the ferocious beasts, collecting resources while dodging their pursuit. This eccentric player from the Immortal Sect didn't explore the black mist in circles like Yi Fan. Instead, they chose a direction they felt was lucky and began exploring that direction. It was some distance away from the Immortal Sect, and no one knew how far away it was. This eccentric player from the Immortal Sect actually discovered a treasure chest reward in the wild. This eccentric player used to be nothing more than Wang Yufei's simp. Wang Yufei even forgot his name because he wasn't even qualified to be a backup option. The only men who can be Wang Yufei's backup boyfriend are either rich second-generation heirs with money and resources, or they're from basketball teams or sports schools, the kind of people whose families have a little money, own a few houses but aren't exactly rich. Such men need to be tall, good-looking, and have some money. This oddball's biggest hobby is playing video games, and Wang Yufei doesn't even know his name. This guy, whose name Wang Yufei doesn't even know, learned that there were many treasure chests hidden in the black fog, and immediately told Wang Yufei this top-secret information. He never imagined how much benefit he could gain if this message were shared with powerful forces and wealthy families, benefits that could even allow him to pursue his goddess for several days. He just told Wang Yufei the news like that. Forget about becoming Wang Yufei's boyfriend, he couldn't even become Wang Yufei's backup number, and so don't feel sorry for any of those sycophants. They don't deserve any sympathy. This is important news. Wang Yufei also shared it directly in their elite group chat. Because these are the people who will survive 7 days and thrive. Even if that sycophant was lucky enough to obtain the swift boots and discover the secret of the treasure chest hidden in the black mist, thus gaining a great opportunity. However, his personality and intelligence destined him to go nowhere for long. This is also why Wang Yufei doesn't take him seriously. Yi Fan knew that it was time for him to spend a fortune to acquire valuable resources. After thinking about it for a day, Yi Fan decided that he couldn't give up on the 5 girls in this group. So Yi Fan sent a specific red envelope in the chat room. This is a red envelope that only Wang Yufei can receive. Yi Fan, this message was very useful. To express my gratitude, I'm sending you a red envelope. Wang Yufei didn't care about Yi Fan's words. Back on Earth, she could receive tons of red envelopes, cash gifts, simply by posting a message on her WeChat Moments. However, after opening the red envelope, I found that it contained 5 grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills. Wang Yufei was stunned for a moment. What a generous reward. Wang Xiao Meng Yi Fan's domineering aura, Li Lili Yi Fan's domineering aura, Zhang Feng Yi Fan's domineering aura. Liu Yi Fan, the domineering boss. Wang Yufei then realized that they were no longer on Earth. It's no longer the world where birthdays are celebrated with a bunch of 520 or 1314 red envelopes from potential suitors. We are currently in the world of immortals. Especially since it's only the second day. When everyone was short of elixirs, his message actually earned him 5 grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills. With these 5 pills, perhaps tonight, my disciple can break through to the qi refining stage. Unexpectedly, Yi Fan was willing to pay such a high price for what she considered to be relatively unimportant information. This also reflects the difference in strength between the two sides. Their disciples were not yet at the qi refining stage, so they dared not venture deep into the black mist. But Yi Fan was different. Today, thanks to the support of a large quantity of elixirs, Li Yu Huan has just reached the 5th level of qi refining. Nangong Qiushui also possessed the strength of the peak of the 4th level of the qi refining stage. The only one who was relatively slow was Nangong Feixu, because she spent a lot of time studying swordsmanship. She has only just entered the 4th level of qi refining. Based on the cultivation speed of his 3 disciples, it is estimated that Li Yu Huan, who is cultivating the fastest, may be able to break through to the 7th level of qi refining tomorrow during the day. With the numerous magical treasures he possesses, Yi Fan plans to explore vast areas of black mist tomorrow, as he currently doesn't have enough disciples in his immortal sect. Those resource points that are difficult to collect are not actually important. Rather, it is the treasure chests rewarded by the immortal sect system that are more likely to attract Yi Fan's interest. For example, he needs more and more advanced elixir formulas. For example, he urgently needed a high-quality sword technique manual, and he also wanted to improve Nangong Feixu's combat power as soon as possible. Currently, relying on the defensive capabilities of the heavenly silkworm armor, Yi Fan can still steadily suppress Li Yu Huan. Li Yu Huan didn't respect him, and Yi Fan was well aware of that. This is why he spends a lot of time during the day improving his combat skills. At the same time, he also hoped that the Nangong sisters could restrain Li Yu Huan. The simplest solution would be to give Nangong Feixu a high-quality sword cultivation technique. In this way, Nangong Feixu's fighting ability would not be weaker than Li Yu Huan's. Where do such techniques come from? From opening treasure chests, of course. Yi Fan's extravagant gesture shocked the 5 people in the chat room. Unexpectedly, he was willing to give 5 grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills for information that was useful to Yi Fan. At this time, these are pills that are extremely difficult for others to obtain. They just gave Wang Yufei 5. The 5 women were all deeply shocked by Yi Fan's immense wealth. In the world of immortals, those with wealth are more powerful and respected than those on Earth. Not only are resources insufficient, but disciples are also unable to rapidly improve their cultivation level and are constantly at risk of being killed by unknown enemies. The higher the disciples' cultivation level, the higher the sect leader's cultivation level, and thus, the longer their lifespan. Especially those 5 beautiful women, who, after reaching a higher level of cultivation, could even remain eternally youthful. What woman wouldn't be driven mad by that? Yi Fan offered 5 grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills in one go. With such a powerful figure, the 5 of them had to seize the opportunity. If one could become Yi Fan's woman and receive several spirit-nourishing pills every day, how blissful life would be. At this moment, all 5 women harbored different feelings towards Yi Fan. At the same time, it also achieved Yi Fan's goal of spending a fortune to buy horse bones. Yi Fan immediately received a private message. It was sent by Li Lily. I'm hesitant about joining that foreign-founded organization, the precursor to the Skull and Bones Society, which is essentially the Freemasons. Back in Earth's time, it was a truly massive force, with members not only of foreigners but also many wealthy merchants from Daxia. I wonder if this message can be exchanged for a few grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills. Hearing this name, the average Huxia person might not understand it. However, Yi Fan, who frequently writes online novels, still knew about it. This organization is mainly composed of businessmen who are greedy and even consider profiting from war. They are a group of people who are greedy and control wealth. Unexpectedly, after just transmigrating to the world of immortals, this group of people actually formed a huge alliance. No wonder Li Lily was so tempted, yet hesitant to join in. Those who can become successful businessmen on Earth, even if they're unlucky, their methods of running a sect in this immortal world are unmatched by ordinary people. In particular, there is a group of people who like fandoms, and they may still be their leaks victims. This message may not be of much use to Yi Fan right now, but it will be useful when the safe period ends and the immortal sects can start a war. This is also a powerful force that Yi Fan must face. It seems we must adjust the development direction of the immortal sect. This is also a very important piece of information. Yi Fan, this message is very important. I'll also give you 5 grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills. Originally, Li Lily thought that Yi Fan hadn't replied for a long time, so she assumed that he was just an ordinary person and had no idea how terrifying the Skull and Bones Society was on Earth. Unexpectedly, Li Lily was overjoyed to see 5 grade 3 spirit-nourishing pills displayed in the transaction window sent by Yi Fan. Elixirs were also a resource she desperately needed, so she quickly clicked the trade button. The chat group consisted of 5 women, 3 of whom had received favors from Yi Fan that day, immediately making the group lively. What women like most is actually all kinds of gossip news. After finishing their serious business, they started gossiping. Because they are students at an art school, many celebrities in the entertainment industry are actually their seniors, and many of them are former celebrities from Earth. For example, a certain celebrity may have made a fortune off a large number of fans, but he trusted his agent too much, and his wife and wealth were taken away by someone else. A couple, both big stars, were deeply in love on Earth but became mortal enemies in the immortal world. Whether these gossip tales are true or false, they sound very amusing, which is a welcome relief on this night without electricity. In a world of immortals devoid of entertainment devices like televisions and computers, this was a rare form of leisure. Yi Fan suddenly had a flash of inspiration. I've come up with a really fun idea. Yi Fan, I have a fun idea, would you like to join me? Wang Xiaomeng, speak your mind directly. Yi Fan, each of you take a selfie. I will judge them and the best one will be awarded a grade 3 spirit-nourishing pill. As soon as the message was sent, the chat group fell into a brief silence. Just a photograph could give you a chance to obtain a precious grade 3 spirit-nourishing pill. Elixirs are such a scarce resource now. On the first day, everyone entered the immortal world and received 10 grade 9 spirit-nourishing pills, so no one lacked any pills. However, by the second day, apart from a few people who harvested large quantities of grade 9 spirit-nourishing pills, only a small number of lucky individuals obtained pills from the beginner's treasure chest. There are plenty of grade 9 spirit-nourishing pills in the trading hall, but they're not cheap. Pills of grade 9 or higher are extremely rare resources. Now, as soon as something appears in the trading hall, it will be quickly bought up by various forces. The 5 women never imagined that a single photograph could be exchanged for a precious grade 3 spirit-nourishing pill. I never imagined Yi Fan would have such wealth, and I never imagined that their beauty could still be exchanged for such a large sum of money. The 5 women originally intended to enter the entertainment industry. In fact, even before they graduated, they had already done a lot of commercial performances, played minor supporting roles in some film and television works, and even played bit parts with lines. Sending your photo to a man doesn't evoke any negative feelings in you. They might even feel extremely happy and excited. It felt like we were back 2 days ago when they could rely on their beauty to become idols of millions, the center of the stage, the most dazzling star. Yi Fan waited for a few minutes. 5 more photos appeared in the chat group. The most beautiful is naturally Liu Yi. The reason is simple, although each of the 5 women has her own unique characteristics. Wang Xiaomeng's adorable and innocent style, Wang Yufei's sexy and mature style, Zhang Feng is as heroic and valiant as a female general. Li Lily's pure and innocent style, along with her smiling dimples, evokes a strong protective instinct in men. However, they failed because of their clothing. Only Liu Yi obtained the precious fabric and made very beautiful clothes, which combined with her seductive style made her irresistible to men. Yi Fan carefully examined the 5 photos. Liu Yi won today, but everyone else shouldn't be discouraged. This kind of pill reward competition will be held every day and the rewards will gradually increase. Yi Fan was already incredibly handsome because of the hidden bonus from his disciple Sanxianzi. In addition, he possesses exceptional personal strength. The 5 women didn't dislike him at all. In fact, some even harbored secret crushes on him. Today, Yi Fan not only demonstrated his financial resources, but also showed his willingness to provide them with resources. 5 women simultaneously felt the same way. They had to win over this exceptional man. They were very happy with Yi Fan's suggestion. Using their beauty to conquer a man is their most proficient tactic. They all agreed to hold the competition the following day. Meanwhile, the other 4 women were also working hard in secret. I comforted myself. Men are attracted to alluring women at first sight. When Liu Yi was in school, she was surrounded by the most sycophants. Should I change my style and go for a more glamorous look? We should continue to maintain our advantages. Yi Fan didn't think that much about it. In his eyes, such activities, besides providing a feast for the eyes, are the most important thing was to demonstrate his wealth and get 5 women to help him gather more intelligence. Whether it's information about a cultivation world or news between players. These 5 women each have their own small cliques, and their intelligence-gathering abilities are hundreds of times greater than those of this reclusive man from Earth. In the world of immortals, there is no shortage of women. On the Ascension platform, there are a large number of women, among whom there are naturally many beauties who are 1 in a million. He's not actually that lecherous if he really wanted a lot of women. He could exchange elixirs for spirit wood to build dozens of small huts for his disciples, specifically to find beautiful female disciples to become his harem. He did this primarily to use the 5 women as his spies, while also getting them to send out sexy photos in exchange for some benefits. A pleasant evening passed. The 3rd day arrived. This time, Yi Fan didn't rush to go out. Instead, they went first to the main hall in the front courtyard. Nangong Qiushui did not return to her room that night. For those who cultivate immortality, there is little difference between day and night. This does not affect Nangong Qiushui's ability to refine elixirs. Many elixirs had already been laid out in the main hall. Nangong Qiushui simply invited Yi Fan to arrive. Immediately bow respectfully. Disciple greets master. Today's 1000 grade 3 spirit nourishing pills have been successfully refined. Yi Fan scanned the area with his divine sense and immediately determined the quantity of spirit nourishing pills. 1035 grade 3 nourishing spirit pills, 1532 grade 2 nourishing spirit pills, and 2129 grade 1 nourishing spirit pills. Clearly, Nangong Qiushui's alchemy skills have once again made a leap forward today. The number of first-grade spirit nourishing pills was actually greater than that of second-grade and third-grade pills. What made Yi Fan happiest was the quantity of the pregnancy elixir. After completing the task assigned by Yi Fan to prepare 1000 grade 3 spirit nourishing pills for him every day, Nangong Qiushui spent the rest of her time refining the spirit nourishing pill. There are now over 1000 pregnancy elixir pills of various qualities. Just then, Yi Fan came out. The latest batch of pills has just been produced. Yi Fan scanned it with his divine sense. The spirit nourishing pills are mainly of grade 7, with 1/5 of them reaching grade 3 or above. Yi Fan was very happy. These can be exchanged for a large quantity of spiritual herbs and medicines in the future, but it is the foundation of a celestial sect. Leave behind enough elixirs for the disciples of the Immortal Sect to cultivate. Yi Fan waved his hand casually. Yi Fan stored all of these pills in his system warehouse. Yi Fan praised Nangong Qiushui and encouraged her to keep up the good work. He hurriedly returned to his room. He still has 2 things to do today. One thing is to put today's pills on the shelves. The other thing is that today's newbie gift pack hasn't been opened yet. Yi Fan has already reached the 6th level of the Qi refining stage. My spiritual sense is even stronger than yesterday. With a thought, 1000 portions of grade 3 spirit nourishing pills were placed in the trading hall in the blink of an eye. At the same time, Yi Fan also sold 200 portions of grade 2 spirit nourishing pills. The price is twice that of a grade 3 nourishing spirit pill. This was Yi Fan testing the waters since so many players had already formed an alliance and their influence was considerable. Let's look at their spending power. If people can afford the 2nd grade spirit nourishing pill, they will sell it in large quantities. They might even sell top grade spirit nourishing pills. As for the higher-grade spirit nourishing pill, Yi Fan will not sell it now. These are the pills my disciples are taking, even though I have more spirit-nourishing pills than I can use. However, selling them would allow other people's disciples to approach the cultivation speed of one's own disciples. No matter how much wealth you have, your own strength is the most important thing. Yi Fan's greatest foundation is not the enormous wealth he currently controls. Rather, he could see hidden attributes, and his disciples' cultivation was far superior to that of others. Just like on Earth, there is a country called Little Camel. 30 years ago, their per capita income was 10 times that of Yi Fan's country, Dragon Kingdom. It controls a great deal of wealth, but the Little Camel has no military strength. After the invasion, the wealth was divided up by the powerful nations. The average income per capita in the country is only a fraction of that in Daxia. Having wealth but no power is just easy prey in the eyes of the strong. In such a world of cultivation, without sufficient strength, one will only face greater danger. Therefore, Yi Fan would not sell the top-grade pills he possessed. The most fundamental thing is to maintain your own combat power and overwhelm your opponent. Although Yi Fan is a bit of a homebody because he reads a lot, he has a much better overall perspective than the average person. After the medicines are put on the shelves, the powerful families immediately began a buying frenzy. After experiencing the powerful effects of the grade 3 spirit nourishing pill yesterday, they knew that their disciples' rate of improvement far surpassed that of the grade 9 spirit nourishing pill. They had already arranged for someone to acquire a large quantity of high-grade pills in the trading hall. Yi Fan's grade 2 spirit nourishing pills, just like the grade 3 spirit nourishing pills, were sold out in just over 10 minutes after being put on the shelves. Yi Fan is not concerned about the medicinal herbs at the moment. Even if his sect had 100 times more disciples, there would be no problem with consuming pills within a month. Yi Fan is incredibly wealthy now. No one else knew the cost of his pill-making process. One grade 3 spirit nourishing pill can be sold as materials for dozens of batches of pills. One batch of pills can produce 100 pills, among which the third grade spirit nourishing pill is only the lowest quality. Many medicinal herbs are used to make the pregnancy elixir and the transformation elixir. This is a profit of more than 10,000 times. No one possessed more violent methods than him. This profit is even greater than making chips from sand, which requires lithography machines and a large amount of electricity. Making pills is merely a skill of an outstanding disciple. It does not affect Nangong Kyushui's cultivation progress. This is truly a case of a small investment yielding huge profits, not an exaggeration. A small investment yielding huge profits is a unit of measurement. Yi Fan opened today's beginner's treasure chest. Of the 10 chests, the 3 highest quality were silver treasure chests, which disappointed Yi Fan somewhat. Yi Fan examined the hidden information in the 3 treasure chests. Both are resource chests. One contains a large amount of high-grade spirit wood, and the other contains a large amount of fire copper ore. The last treasure chest contained a magical artifact, Swift Boots, a top-grade treasure. It can significantly increase the user's speed. Yi Fan was initially very disappointed to see 3 silver treasure chests. His luck was much worse than yesterday. Unexpectedly, there was a pleasant surprise. They were actually Swift Boots. Yi Fan decisively chose the treasure chest containing the Swift Boots. Having the Swift Boots means Yi Fan can safely explore the Black Mist. Even if he encounters a ferocious beast he can't defeat, Yi Fan can rely on his speed to escape. The purpose of exploring the Black Fog is primarily to find resource points. However, based on the intelligence gathered last night, within the Black Mist, there were also many treasure chests containing system rewards. Once players are strong enough, they can explore the Black Mist to unlock these hidden rewards. Opening a treasure chest a day earlier or a day later makes a huge difference. When everyone has the ability to open treasure chests in the wild, the prices of the rewards inside will plummet. Now, practically no one knows about this news. Yi Fan can obtain a great deal of benefits by acquiring the rewards from these treasure chests. Everything was ready, and I also got the Swift Boots. Yi Fan then prepared to explore the Black Mist. At this time, Yi Fan suddenly received a message. A private message sent by Zhang Feng. Yi Fan opened it and took a look. Brother Yi Fan, there's someone selling a high-grade heaven-rank cultivation technique in the trading hall. Go check it out. Yi Fan currently only possesses one high-grade heaven-rank cultivation technique. Enter the trading hall immediately. Azure Lotus Sword Technique, High Rank, Heavenly Rank. It turned out to be a sword cultivation manual, which was exactly the kind of manual I needed right now. If Nangong Feixu were to learn from her, her combat prowess would rival that of Li Yu Huan, which would help maintain the stability of Yi Fan's immortal sect. This is a cultivation technique that Yi Fan absolutely must obtain. Yi Fan entered the trading hall. The first thing you see is the top-tier heavenly rank cultivation technique, the Azure Lotus Sword technique. Sure enough, someone was selling a high-grade heaven rank cultivation technique. Such a good thing. Although someone was selling a high-grade heaven rank cultivation technique on the very first day, Yi Fan managed to snag one at a bargain. However, that was the first day of the game and many people were unaware of prices. Now it's different, it's already the third day. Many people already know how difficult it is to obtain heavenly rank cultivation techniques. The price for this top-grade heavenly rank cultivation technique is also very high. It actually requires 10 heavenly rank magic treasures. This is outrageous. No one would agree to his deal. Yi Fan decided to abandon the deal. Even if he did have 10 heaven rank magic treasures, he wouldn't use them to exchange for a cultivation technique, especially since they are very difficult to obtain these days. Is this person trying to show off that they have a heavenly rank cultivation technique, or are they just testing if any fools will buy it, etc.? It's only been 3 days and I don't even have 10 heaven rank magic treasures, let alone a fool. This person can't be so foolish as to sell goods at such high prices in the trading hall just to show off. The only reason he listed it at such a high price is that he wants to auction it off. The highest bidder who messages him privately will win. Thinking about this was the first time Yi Fan had proactively sent a private message to someone. Clicking on the other person's profile picture revealed a girl with blonde hair wearing a crown. She appeared to be only in her early 20s, yet she exuded a noble and pure aura. Her name was Elizabeth III. Both its name and appearance exude an air of unparalleled nobility. However, Yi Fan didn't care about her appearance or whether she was noble. Instead, they sent a private message. Hello, I'm willing to exchange 500 grade 2 spirit nourishing pills for your high-grade heavenly rank cultivation technique. Since it's an exchange, and Yi Fan only has a dozen or so magical treasures, it's impossible for him to exchange them. The spirit nourishing pill and the spirit fertility pill were the most abundant items in his possession. Yi Fan naturally wouldn't reveal his low price right away. Let's experiment with the second-grade nourishing spirit pill, which is almost non-existent on the market. As expected, Yi Fan soon received a reply from Queen Elizabeth III. Friend, this price is too low. I need a large quantity of grade 1 nourishing spirit pills. Upon seeing this message, Yi Fan smiled. Looks like I can get it for a cheap price. These pills intended for inner disciples' cultivation might seem incredibly precious to outsiders, but to Yi Fan they were nothing special. Yi Fan, a grade 1 spirit nourishing pill is extremely precious. Several batches of pills might not yield even one grade 1 spirit nourishing pill. You're asking for an exorbitant price. Yi Fan deliberately made it sound so difficult because he was referring to Nangong Qiushui's success rate when she first tried to refine the spirit nourishing pill. Nangong Qiushui only managed to refine one grade 1 spirit nourishing pill the first time she tried to refine a higher quality one. Others certainly don't have Nangong Qiushui's destiny, nor do they possess such powerful magic weapons for refining elixirs. The success rate is nowhere near that of Nangong Qiushui. Queen Elizabeth III responded quickly. If you offer 100 grade 1 spirit nourishing pills and 1000 grade 2 spirit nourishing pills, this high-grade heaven rank cultivation technique is yours. Seeing this transaction amount, Yi Fan smiled. Nangong Qiushui could refine this little bit of stuff in less than 2 hours, but he still wouldn't agree to that. The two sides are only discussing the price. If you agree too easily, the other party is likely to raise the price before the deal is finalized. Yi Fan, that's impossible. I don't have that many grade 1 spirit nourishing pills. 18 grade 1 spirit nourishing pills and 600 grade 2 spirit nourishing pills are already the limit I can provide. The person deliberately mentioned having a whole number of pills, including odd and even ones, to make the other party believe that they only had 18 first-grade nourishing spirit pills. In fact, he currently has more grade 1 spirit nourishing pills in his system inventory than grade 3 and grade 2 spirit nourishing pills. Queen Elizabeth III, okay, I agree to the deal. Can we become friends? The two parties quickly completed the transaction. Yi Fan obtained the sword cultivation technique he desperately needed, which could help maintain the balance of the immortal sects. Queen Elizabeth III also obtained a large quantity of elixirs, which solved her immediate problem. The two added each other as friends, and Queen Elizabeth III wanted to purchase more pills from Yi Fan. Yi Fan also knew that once more people started refining pills, he wouldn't be able to achieve such a crazy 10,000-fold profit. In a few days, we will still need some big customers like Queen Elizabeth III. Queen Elizabeth III completed the transaction. I'm very happy. Immediately speak in a chat group called Roundtable Conference. My knights, the problem of the elixirs is now solved. A cheer erupted in the Roundtable chat group. Queen Elizabeth III finally solved the first problem. Her loyal knights will surely follow in her footsteps, advancing all the way to the pinnacle. Yi Fan obtained the sword technique he desired. Immediately use your divine sense to transmit your voice. Nangong Feixu, come to the main hall for a moment. Nangong Feixu, who was deep in thought about the way of the sword, heard her master's summons. He immediately stopped cultivating and went to the sect leader's hall. Yi Fan, I know you've been pondering your swordsmanship lately. It's very difficult to learn in isolation. I'll impart a swordsmanship technique to you, and you can gradually comprehend it later. After saying that, Yi Fan clicked the teach button. The Azure Lotus Sword Dao entered Nangong Feixu's mind directly. For Nangong Feixu at this stage, a high-grade heaven-rank cultivation technique is unfathomable. I've only just started learning the Azure Lotus Sword Dao. Nangong Feixu's many vague feelings about swordsmanship were easily resolved, and she gained a deeper understanding of it. An hour later, Nangong Feixu finally gained a basic understanding of the Azure Lotus Sword Dao, and her eyes returned to normal. Yi Fan said, "Today, Feixu, you and Li Yu Huan will accompany me to explore the Black Mist. Qiushui will continue to guard the Immortal Gate and refine pills." He summoned Li Yu Huan, who was cultivating through telepathic communication. Yi Fan began assigning tasks. Today we continue exploring the Black Mist surrounding the Immortal Sect. Nangong Feixu, you will lead the charge, Li Yu Huan will provide support from the center, and I will cover the rear. This arrangement was naturally intended to find some ferocious beasts for Nangong Feixu to practice on. Now that Nangong Feixu has mastered the basics of swordsmanship, she needs a large number of opponents to hone her skills. The three of them acted just like the first time. Explore around the Immortal Gate and try to find all the resource points in all directions. Yi Fan didn't need to be like that guy in the swift boots, who didn't care about the supplies at resource points and only wanted to open treasure chests. Because Yi Fan could easily kill the ferocious beasts in the previous rounds. The weakest of the three was Nangong Feixu, who was at the 4th level of the Qi refining stage. They moved very quickly. They immediately discovered a resource point. This is still a forest of spirit trees, but the quality of these spirit trees is better, and the forest covers a larger area. There are at least tens of thousands of spirit trees, making it a rather large forest. As Yi Fan and his two companions approached, a group of black bears rushed out.